Honestly, if we jump right in halfway through a song, I'll never expect it. How you two doing?
So intense. I mean, well, we're just saying that a future topic might be. This is why we're so cheery and smiley. We're just saying that a future topic for the Twitch stream could be top 5 inappropriate metal songs to play at your funeral.
Eaten back to life.
So, I'm keeping them close to my chest.
Yeah.
I'm not letting anyone know.
I should have done, but that's it's a good topic actually. I quite like it.
I know.
Yeah.
This is what I do. I just create content. Constantly create content. It'd be Nookie, wouldn't it, by Limp Bizkit?
Die, motherfucker, die.
Oh man.
How are we doing? How are we with Twitch?
How's everyone doing? Sorry, I had to delay it just a few seconds. I had to reconnect and re-authenticate the fucking bot for the channel. I was like, great, thanks, asshole.
You sound like Samuel L. Jackson from Jurassic Park right now, where you're like, access the main program, access the main security grid,
do it,
access the main security grid.
That's what I did. There was
please, God damn it!
Wayne Newton was stood behind me laughing as well. It was great.
Yeah.
But
you've got to say the magic word.
But he left because I asked him to get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah, get the fuck out. That's what you do.
Yep.
I'm just going to enjoy. While you two introduce the topic, I'm just going to enjoy some light reading material of Iowa, the best album Slipknot ever made. I'm just going to read through this, and you guys can introduce the topic.
Our buddy Seamus says that the most inappropriate song might be "Bring Me to Life" by Evanescence. I like it. It's very good. So why are we mentioning Iowa so early in the show? Is that could that be because the Devil Horns, if that is his real name, it isn't. Decided to be a little troll.
Wayne Knight, sorry, he decided to be a troll and said this album was not great. Like, come
on. I'm gonna be honest. There is a Slipknot album on my list. It's not It's not fucking Iowa though.
One was close to you on my list. I'm not on my list. I'm not kidding.
Well, there's 2 actually, but then me and Dave have a pact, a Faustian pact. If he picks one, I'll pick the other.
Oh, okay.
Once again, neither one of them is Iowa though.
No, it can't be. Matt Carlson, what's going on?
Yeah, 100% not Iowa.
No. Just
no.
What?
Iowa, really?
Yeah.
Iowa.
I mean, it's not a good album.
I'd say it's in their kind of top half of their.
It's in their top. Yes, I would agree with that. But then I only think Slipknot. I think Slipknot have 3 like great to amazing albums in that scale, and then everything below that is average to not very good.
Yeah.
And Iowa sits in those 3 for sure.
Yeah.
But probably on the. It's an album that I loved when I first heard it, just because I fell into that trapping of Slipknot have said they've made the heaviest album ever, and I listened to it and I was like, by Jove, this is I did say by Jove because that's what I thought back then, that long ago. By Jove, this is the heaviest album ever, and it doesn't hold up to repeat listens though. I think there's something. I think Ross Robinson may have ruined it. I think Ross Robinson, in his effort to make it as heavy as he did, he extracted some of the charm of that original, specifically in the media stuff, the deck stuff, which is almost non-existent throughout the album, and the percussion is far too high in the mix. I know that'll upset Dave, but the percussion is far too high in the mix.
No trouble banging that drum, have you?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many mics you can put on an oil drum being hit with a hammer.
Yeah.
Apparently Ross Robinson had them all on it. So yeah, there we go.
I'm just going to pick which one sounds best. Oh, it's all of them.
Yeah. It's like Joey Jordison showed up that day and was like, hey, do you actually even need me, guys? I only have one mic for my drum kit. So, because the rest were all in the clown. Interesting topic. Did any of you listen to the debut single of the project, which contains both Corey Taylor's son and the clown's son?
No.
I did.
You did?
What did you think?
That's what I thought it was going to be like.
Yeah, I kind of thought you could do with a really good guitarist. The drums sounded okay, and by God, do you sound like a young Corey Taylor.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of forgettable, to be honest.
Yes, it is. But they're like 7 or something. They're like in primary school or some shit like that. So.
Yeah.
They look like
they're young, that's what I'm saying. They're young.
I like how the son of the clown is doing this.
Yeah.
Exactly like his fucking dad.
That's original,
and the son of Corey is like, he looks exactly like his dad on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay. You need to
I mean, it's difficult. It's like, remember that first time you listened to Edema and you got all excited because you heard Jonathan Davis had a half brother, and then you found that he sounded like a not very good Jonathan Davis.
Right.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Oh, these guys like Korn a bit. No, they're related. Who?
Yeah. It's basically people that had played in Korn in the past that made up the rest of that band, though.
I bet those two bands, Vended and Adema, would be amazing in Alabama. Really popular for some reason.
I wonder why. So, there we go. What was in that's called Corey Taylor still trying to sound like Jonathan Davis. For a while, everyone tried to sound like Jonathan Davis, even those that said that they didn't. That's the best thing about that kind of whole new metal thing, and all the bands that didn't, like, came out after Korn that didn't want to be new metal, that clearly sounded like Korn. Like, we're not new metal. New metal's a dirty word.
Is it?
I was like, listening to a little bit of Life is Peachy this morning. It was
Classic.
good.
Classic.
Right, Dave, I have set everyone up by boring them to tears, and now you can come in with the exciting news of what we're discussing on today's episode, which will pick them back up.
Indeed. We are here for 2 things. First thing...
Chew bubblegum and kick ass. And we're all at a bubblegum.
4 things. We're here.
I'm out of ass as well.
That's not what you were saying just before you started. You said you put on a few pounds.
Yeah. Shaking that ass, Kyle. Come on.
Yeah.
What you gonna do with all that junk? All that junk in the back of my trunk? I'm gonna get.
It doesn't work in a chair with wheels, does it?
Yeah. I don't think we're ready for all that jelly, Kyle.
No, no one is. Right, shutting the shit down.
For you, baby.
We are here. Firstly, we're here for the last night of Duncan's 30s.
Hi, I'm Duncan. This is the last night of my 30s.
It's going to get filthy up in here.
Yep.
This
Twitch stream is brought to you by erectile dysfunction. You suffer from it in your 40s? Use the code at checkout, get me hard. So there we are.
Duncan.
Any proceeds from any subscribers tonight will go directly into Duncan's Get Him a New Hip project.
Yeah, new hip project. Make Duncan hip. That's a different project. It's a different project entirely.
That or his back, whichever goes first.
Yeah, one of the two. It could be my back from carrying the weight of this show.
Oh. Fucking son of a bitch.
I'm gone for 1 week and that's how he feels. Jesus.
Brap, brap, brap. Here we go. Shots fired.
Motherfucker.
Mother.
Moving on. We are discussing this evening hashtag utter shit discs, which Twitch won't allow us to hashtag because shit, obviously.
Shit, yeah. So it's utter trash discs if you're looking at the stream title, but
I mean, it's shocking that you can't use the word shit on Twitch. I mean, they see the word shit in like kid shows now. I'm fairly sure they use it on Peppa Pig.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Teletubbies, granted they speak a foreign language, like the Teletubby language, you can't make that out, but I'm sure they're swearing constantly.
You can't use slaughtered either. Trust you, you tried.
You can't use slaughtered.
Apparently not.
Slaughtered?
You cannot be drunk on Twitch. They're going to prove them wrong.
Shame is. I like where this is going already.
So utter shit discs is in a nutshell highly rated or critically acclaimed albums.
That's the boy right there.
From the last 20 years that actually we think are fucking shite. Absolute garbage.
Yep. One of those ones now, there may be the odd occasion here where some of us think that our opinion has changed and now it's in the shit category. I'll be honest, all the ones on my list are all instant shit. So I'm quite happy about that. But it'd be interesting to find if anyone has flip-flopped their opinion from the first time it came out. You know, like how every publication rightly said that Saint Anger was a great Metallica album, but in hindsight have all said it's not. So that would make them a bad flip-flopper because that's a great album. So it's that sort of thing, you know. That's what.
No, I think all 5 on my list I've never liked.
I think I've got one that I kind of half flip-flopped on. I kind of liked it when it came out, but the more I listened to it, the more I fucking hated it. So, and the more I wondered what the hell people were smoking when they reviewed it. Like, what? We'll get there.
Probably smoking the envelopes that contained the checks that they got paid to write the review.
Yeah. We will pay you to write a good review of this because it's not going to last on its own merits.
I'm just jealous because that's where I want to be. I want to be in a position where someone sends me a check to say I like an album I don't.
Yeah.
I will cash that check.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if anyone out there is from, I don't know, fucking Roadrunner Records or whatever they're called now, and wants to pay me money to highly rate one of those albums that's not doing well.
I mean, it wasn't Roadrunner, but there was a PR company from Russia did email me and say they would pay us for reviews. I mean, they never said whether they had to be good or not, but I mean, I was assuming that the tone of the email
did this
was
conversation say we'll pay you for reviews? Please send us your bank details.
Yeah,
So
how?
that's how you got that new mic. He's taken all the We've had loads of Russian bands. This is all starting to fall into place, Mr. Dave.
Yeah, kind of overnight. The casual conversation was like, I found this other Russian band.
No, Carl Mike is like, I'm a new mic.
Yep.
I like it.
That's Mike Merriman. He's a podcaster. So.
That's awesome.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
He's all the way over on the west coast, west side.
West coast of England.
No, America.
Sorry, Scotland. Fuck.
He's California. California dreaming.
California.
I love California. I've been there millions of times.
I love California.
Welcome to the Hotel California. I love it. Such a lovely place.
It's such a lovely place. I've never been, but I imagine it is.
Yeah, I 100% could not be the west coast of England. It could be like, welcome to the Hotel California. Right there.
You cannot possibly.
What is that? All you have to do is do a bit of Hagrid. You just do Hagrid.
Right,
from Harry Potter.
Is that what that was?
You're a wizard, Harry! That's it. It's kind of half pirate, half west coast.
Right, okay.
Imagine the hip hop.
Oh god. Well, they do. Well, I've got a brand new combine harvester. That's hip hop, isn't it, from the west coast?
And you can't fucking have the key.
Isn't that how that works?
Oh yeah, Huntington Beach is just south of where I go to visit. Nice.
Yeah, famous for Tito Ortiz and nothing else.
Yeah.
Tito Ortiz and his porn star wife.
Are Cornwall from California?
Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Which is like Bay Area, which is
are,
far north of where them.
So are Deftones as well, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Cold Chamber. I think most of the new albums are from Cali. So.
Any new metal band that's not from Iowa is from there.
POD are from California as well, so.
Of course they are. They sang about fucking skateboarding.
Yeah.
Good old Tito Ortiz. Did you see Tito Ortiz fighting Anderson Silva? That was amazing.
I heard he got knocked out.
Yeah, he did.
And to be honest, that didn't surprise me.
Awesome.
Oh, man. And then I heard that he now, after he got knocked out, he challenged one of those fucking stupid YouTubers.
That's a done thing, isn't it?
Yeah. That's why I stopped watching it, Dave. I'll be honest. I can't legitimately can't watch it anymore because it's just all talk about fucking idiots online. And I get enough of that, Dave. I don't need it in my MMA.
You spend enough time with idiots online, Duncan.
Yes, I do. So yeah.
So, utter shit discs, gentlemen.
Yeah.
There's still California chat going on there in the old.
Yeah.
You mentioned it once.
Well, like, in fairness, you mentioned it once, but if you're the Red Hot Chili Peppers, it's every third word in a verse.
Right?
Yeah.
I wonder what...
California! You know
Anthony Kiedis lives in guess where?
California!
Hey, Zeshi, what's going on? Thanks for the sub.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go to California.
I actually thought he lived. I thought he lived under a bridge downtown.
You seen how he looks nowadays? He might as well.
Is it?
He's a bit troll-like, isn't he?
He's kind of
getting
going
there.
the same way as
Yeah.
Iggy. He's Iggy Pop with less sag at the moment, but that'll happen. You know what I mean?
I can't wait. If I ever meet the guy, I'll be like, oh yeah, you're the guy that says less saggy Iggy Pop.
They all eventually that sort of body of the rock star all eventually end up looking like your dad's old leather recliner that's just been really well worn. You know what I mean? It's all rubbery and wrinkly, and you know, if a stain gets in there, it's never coming out.
I love an old recliner, I do.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. You'll appreciate that when you're in your 40s, Duncan. You'll appreciate that.
It's a raid.
I'll find out.
Already?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that's
It's a
early.
party of 15.
I
We'll
know.
crush
Too
it.
early. Too early for a raid.
It is
15's
too
not
early
enough.
for a raid. What are you doing, Tsushima?
I'm down,
I'm not gonna say no, don't raid, but welcome on in. Welcome to the utter shit discs. Metal Epidemic. This is not a podcast, is it? This is
Utter
a
shit. No, utter trash discs.
Utter trash
trash.
discs.
Come on.
Because we're very classy and upscale here at Metal Epidemic.
Cunt.
we will scream cunt, shit, fuck, and balls all over everything, but not here.
Fuck all anyway. Fuck it. Right in the bucket.
Oh man.
Yeah, so we're talking about, basically, for those that have just joined, we have scoured the internet looking at some of basically over the last 20 years what has been critically acclaimed that we think is shit. And we are going to name those albums and shame them on this show. But the beauty of this is, like, if you're me, when you were writing it, you're going, tee-hee-hee, because you know for a fact that some of these are going to upset folk, maybe potentially on this call, but definitely in the audience. So,
Well, we already had one potential upset. We haven't even started yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Tsushima? What were you doing? You were doing art. Of course you were. How did it go? If you're not following Tsushima, by the way, do it. She's fantastic, amazing artist. Has done two album covers for me. I think it's two. Yeah, two album covers for me. Working on another one. Amazing.
That's such a snaky way of saying I've got a new album coming out.
Kyle.
I've had a new album coming out for about a year.
I love that. It's like you said, she's done work for me before and just now.
Also doing another one. Oh, now this one's just personal. So she's going to ship it over to me. I'm going to put it in a frame, just hang it here, and that'll be it.
Yep. Take pride of place beside that ning string that doesn't get played.
Oh, that thing's been played. Oh, baby.
I'm in a cheeky mood tonight. No one's safe.
Cheeky.
So,
I even have spare strings for it now.
is that different from the one? Every time we do one of these, you lift a new packet of different strings, and I'm on to you. This is all like, and he always lifts it. So the label is the perfect way around it, and we can all see it. Like every single one of them. This is just free advertising for New Stone and XL Pro Steel.
XL. Overcompensating, Kyle.
Not really.
See when it said XL, it says Pro Steel above it. For a second, I thought that said Pete Steel, because remember, Pete Steel was alleged to have a massive
No, I
dick.
did hear that.
Like we're talking in excess of 10 inches.
Yeah. But I mean,
These ones are just black.
anyone can say that once you're dead, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think he posed. Did he not pose
did
for?
he?
I think he posed for like Playgirl, if memory serves.
To be honest, though, would you
his
not?
massive member.
I mean, I hope when I die, people are saying the same thing. So
I mean, I'll lie for you if you want.
I'm
just
going to
write me a
pay
check.
people to be in my funeral and be like, this big, you know.
See, there you go. There we are. See,
There you go.
Paul heard that rumor as well. That
Oh, yeah.
apparently got
Of course
a
you knew.
Playgirl.
of course, I knew.
a magazine that none of us bought.
No, I haven't seen it.
Max Sabbath.
But I'll take your word for it.
I imagine the internet being the way it is. I think if you probably type it in, you'll be able to find it.
Yeah, it's not really something I want in my Google.
You don't want to see
what Peter Steele's snake collection.
Yeah. Just like a series of artistic goth shots of his cock. Like looking all sad because it's a goth dick. You know, goth dicks look sad.
Well, it just sort of dips at the end.
Yeah. Constantly weeping for no reason. Easy now. What are we doing here? That's ridiculous.
What's up, cut to the chase? How's it? It's good to see you. Moving swiftly on.
Oh, that's Dan. Hi, Dan.
What's up, Dan?
Can we get off of Pete Steele's cock for just a second?
Well, I wish I could, Dave, but it's so big that it's kind of got me. It's got me in its own gravitational pull.
I'm going to have to Google
see when they talk about Pete Steele's landing strip. Jesus Christ.
He was a tall motherfucker though, wasn't he?
He was huge. Yeah. In every sense, he was like 6'5" or something, I think.
Yeah. They say that about tall guys though. You know what I mean? Hung like donkeys, just
they
comes
do,
with the
and
territory.
then we'll move on. So
6'3", by the way, just in case you're wondering.
yeah, Dave is
moving on.
6 inches in height. And height, not his height. That's not what I was meaning. Right, you've got a filthy mind, Kyle.
Peter Steele had 2 saddles, didn't he? One for his horse, one for his wife.
The tragic thing about this is, all joking aside, I said it before, I'll say it again on here. Like, Typo Negative are a band that over time I think I would go as far as to say, like, I would now call myself a full like fan of them. But the first time I heard them, I thought it was awful. So that'd be one of those flip flops.
Yeah,
like, I remember
I heard the first time I heard Typo Negative, I was in some fucking stupid goth club in Plymouth, and I was like, this shit sucks. And then I started listening to them because I lived with the DJ. I got really into them.
Yeah, but like I remember as an acquaintance of mine and Dave's, a certain guitarist, gave me October Rust way back in the day. It's like, this is one of the best albums, and I listened to it. I was like, this is totally not one of the best albums. I give you it back while I listen to Limp Bizkit. Boom, there we go. That's how you play music, bitch. Yeah. And over time, I don't know what it is. The older I get, the more I appreciate it. I think it's really, really, really good. And it's a band that I am determined to, along with Nine Inch Nails, one day get Dave to admit that he likes.
We'll get there one day.
One day.
I just don't know.
I don't want to have to waterboard them, but I will.
I mean, I'm open to that, but
yeah. I didn't tell you what I was waterboarding you with. No,
I draw the line at Typo Negative and Nine Inch Nails, but waterboarding's fine.
There we go.
So,
right.
I don't know what happened. I can't believe I made that fucking joke. I'm sorry.
There was 2 things about it. One, it was absolutely hilarious, and 2, it made not a lick of sense. Yeah. Like, even a little bit of sense. That's kind of what made it funny. I didn't, like, logistically, like, I was thinking about how it actually works. I was like, is his wife writing them as well? What the fuck is going on here? That doesn't make any sense. Like, do they have to put the saddle over his dick?
Does
it penetrate? But how does that work? It doesn't work at all. It's nonsense. It's a terrible joke. It's a terrible, funny, hilarious joke. Right? I hate you for saying it because it was amazing.
Cradle of Filth and fucking Typo Negative. That'd be a crazy, especially in 2003.
Could you get a more goth gig?
Right. I'd be there or just in all white face paint, you know.
You walk into that room, it's so cold your nipples could cut glass.
Just fall off. Are Nine Inch Nails on Dave's list? Kearney, I thought that was too easy. There was certain bands that I felt were just too easy, like Nine Inch Nails, Iron Maiden. It was just like,
oh, we're not allowed to do Iron Maiden. How about the Ginger Wild Hearts? Do I have to take them off my list as well? Because like I'll be honest, the first 7 were all them, and then I was like, that, you know, maybe I should for diversity remove some.
Are they critically acclaimed? I don't know.
Well, from Metal Epidemic, they are. I think every single review that we've given out is 5 stars. Yeah. Interestingly enough, all written by the same reviewer. Go figure. So
is Kieran still here? I've just gotten an email. I don't know if it popped up, and I just want to see if he's okay with me saying what just happened.
What just happened, Kyle?
Huh? Well, I've got to ask him first because I mean, clearly he did something. But nothing popped up. Usually it pops up and says, this thing has happened, but it didn't. And I'm like, did he do that on purpose?
Could you be more obscure?
Well, I have to be.
Fucking cryptic as
fuck.
I
have to be. He knows what he did. I know what he did. And I want to know if it's okay.
Share with the group.
Is it
top secret? Yeah. I've resurrected Peter Steele and he is that hung.
Pete Steele here? Is he coming on?
He came back as a donkey.
Yeah, Pete Steele had 2 coffins in his bed, one for him and one for his dick. And people struggled to lift the dick coffin. The Pete Steele coffin was fine, you know what I mean? There's a whole lot of bone in there, if you know what I mean. Can we stop talking about Pete Steele's dick?
I know.
That's gone far. Oh, there was a line and we crossed it a long time ago. Oh man.
Kieran's not responding. Is Kieran okay?
He's probably fine. He'll be back.
Seamus. Alright, we're changing the subject. It's not utter shit this, it's Pete Steele's cock.
We'll just talk about that for 3 hours. Yeah. It'd be great. Oh. There's more than enough to talk about. Let's put it that way.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
How did we get here? How did we get here?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Somebody invited me on the Twitch call. That's the first issue. I've had a few drinks. That's the second issue.
What are you drinking this evening?
Tonight I'm over the moon. It doesn't have a lot of alcohol in it, but it is legitimately one of my favourite beers. It's German, so it's a bit difficult for me. Schaffenhofer! Or Schaffenhofer.
That's Schaffenhofer, yeah.
Yeah, it's a wheat beer. It's a wheat beer with grapefruit juice.
Somebody clip that. Schaffenhofer.
Schaffenhofer. It's what Arnie says. Predator, isn't it? Get to the Schaffenhofer. No. Right, so
that's the German version.
That's the German one, yeah.
That's the version in which Jamie Lee Curtis dies at the end, isn't it? She's like, what?
And this, I'm on Brewdog do a gin called Lone Wolf. So I'm on the Lone Wolf gin, which they've just released a new version, which is peach and passion fruit gin with a little bit of fever tree tonic. It's fucking the tits, man. So
fucking hell.
There you go.
Fancy.
So that's what I'm on. I'm going all fancy because I'm about to leave my 30s.
Yeah. Going out with a bang.
Yeah. Hopefully.
I thought he said bank. He's going out with the bank. He's going, I'm 39, it's time to rob a bank and fuck this life.
Nice.
Hey, there's a few things from this conversation that have been committed right to the bank, if you know what I mean.
Oh, Peter Steele.
We're making a withdrawal later on. Right,
what's going on with this Kieran thing? What's happening here?
He has to say it. I mean, I'm just... It just happened. It didn't pop up. I'm just wondering if that... You're not my teacher. Yes.
This is like... I hate this, like, fucking Illuminati bullshit. Right, let's just cut to the...
What's his phone number? Get him on the phone.
Yeah.
Get him in here. So you can share it with the class. What have you done, Kieran?
Oh, I have a DM. Right. He's sending me messages and I missed them.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, we have a clip of Duncan's German.
Let's just wait until Kyle's ready to DM.
There we go. It's a joke for Duncan, nothing. See? It's for Duncan.
Why is it going to you then?
This gets more cryptic by the second.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Is it?
I'm trying to see if there's a comment, but there isn't.
I don't know.
Yeah. It says, this is for the mask for Duncan. You know, the one with the zip?
totally wasn't worth derailing this for 5 minutes at all. Like, even a little bit.
It was a donation of $50 for your hip replacement surgery that you're going to be getting tomorrow.
Oh, thank you.
So thanks very much, Kieran.
Right. We've got stuff to do. We've got business. Bee snatch, as the kids say.
Do they?
Beat
I don't
snatches.
know. Beats?
I've never heard that.
Let's do
I hang
some
about
bee
the playground. I've never heard that.
Like, you've been around. You've been around.
The playgrounds.
Get in the van.
You've been in the playground, have you?
That's where you pick up all the.
That's a different Twitch. That's a
Pick
different
up the
Twitch.
kids. The kid lingo.
So
The
you
kid
pick up
lingo.
kids. I'm sure you do. In the van. You want to see my puppies? Right, anyway, let's.
What's my
We
Pete
need
Steele?
to do this show. Are you
Right,
shut me
okay.
up?
Pete Steele. Here we go.
Oh man. Pete Steele's
Okay.
dick was the stunt double in Anaconda.
I was watching Anaconda 2 the other day. Don't.
Oh
Just
God.
don't.
Kyle.
Why would you watch Anaconda?
Because I'd never seen it before. Yeah.
There's a reason you'd never seen it.
Oh, Kyle.
Yeah, Machine Citizens like thought I was gonna have missed a lot. Nope.
You have missed nothing.
Yep.
Absolutely nothing.
We're getting ready. Yay!
Yeah, our shit discs, albums from the last 20 years, critically acclaimed albums from the last 20 years that we think are actually just a load of fucking garbage.
Gash.
Gash, as they say in Scotland. Interesting lists. I wouldn't say I struggled with this list. I know Duncan didn't.
Put it off right to the last minute.
I did. I put it off right to the end, and I'm still not sure if my list is the best it could be, to be honest. But I do know one thing: it is probably going to upset a few people. So
Yes, Dave.
that's the
Let's
main
upset
thing.
everyone.
that's the main thing.
Win or fall, fuck them all, Dave. Let's
Right
do
or
this.
wrong, as long as it upsets someone, doesn't matter.
Someone's gonna
okay.
get angry. All right, I'm bracing
Someone.
myself.
Right.
Do we do the traditional rock paper scissors, gentlemen?
We have to. We have to. It's tradition, Dave. You said tradition, which means we have to do it.
We have to. We're going in 5-1 as usual.
Yeah. Let me say it here. Yeah. Here we go.
Is this about to be all my favorite albums?
See if two comes out. See if they come out back to back.
Yeah.
Just leave the Twitch. Just like
Bye.
leave the Twitch.
No, there's
Is Nickelback on your list? No.
no. Are they fuck?
I found a list online which said that the worst album, genre not defined, the worst album in the last 20 years was Nickelback.
Lies. That's one of those fucking those folk that smoke the envelopes. One of those cunts that wrote
Well,
that.
I had to very, very, very quickly check to make sure that it wasn't Lisa that had written the article. But this feels like it's got Lisa's fingerprints all over it. I hadn't.
Okay, good.
Where is
guys-
Lisa anyway? Why is Lisa not spending the night with us? Is she still listening to
don't know.
Sleep Token?
Kyle, fucking DM Lisa.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
get her on, like, tell her to stop listening to Sleep Token for 2 fucking
Find out
minutes.
what's going on here.
Join me the lads.
Mike says, "Are we waiting on a fourth person?" No, we're waiting on Lisa.
Yeah, we're waiting on Lisa.
Well, we got to get Lisa on the call as well. This is the
One
wrong
day,
Lisa.
we totally should. I've said before, Lisa should be on at least one episode of the
Yeah.
podcast so she can explain
Message.
what is the deal with Unique Leader Records. We want to know. Why is there a
wanna
deathcore
know.
album coming every week? Does the world need that much deathcore? The answer is no. So Dave is not agreeing with that. Dave's like,
We do
Fine
need
then,
one
okay.
every week.
do we?
I'm loving it. Unique leaders, man. They are label of the year.
Oh no, they're not.
Oh yes, they are.
I think they're wildly inconsistent, Dave. Inconsistent.
Says who?
I see quantity over quality. Shots fired.
How has that survived a month?
I have no idea. I don't even know what it's supposed to be. I think it's a gun and then one of those air horns. I think.
Still got some air in it. Well, send Lisa
Yeah.
a message, and we
Yeah.
shall see if she appears.
Right. While we're waiting on her, let's get the rock, paper, scissors bit, whichever works.
Let me just
Out the way.
loosen up the old wrists here.
Right, so the loser's going first, yeah?
All of
Loser
us
goes
focus.
first.
Right. Okay.
Youngest
Dave,
goes first. Here we go.
Give us a count.
In 3, 2, 1.
Right. This happened last time, right? We're not fucking doing this again, right? Happened last time, not happening again. 3 people can't scissor. Trust me, I've tried. So let's
Try again.
Right.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Fuck.
I bet he's both. Right, so you two need to face off against each other.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, here we go, Kyle. Jewel out. 3, 2, 1.
Fuck.
Hi, Bo. Bo's in the house.
What's up?
My buddy Bo.
What's
all
up,
the way in.
Is Duncan too old? Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
He's all the way over in Nashville. Bo Ransdell.
Nashville.
Mm.
Nice. Lovely.
Got a lot of metal
doesn't
in
like any of
Nashville.
that Nashville music though. So
Yeah, a lot of proto metal in Nashville.
Lovely place. Never been, but I've heard it's nice.
There's going to be a lot of that from you, isn't there? Never been there, but I love it. California, Nashville, anywhere south of Hadrian's Wall.
What's all the
welcome
Nashville songs?
to the hotel. Are we recycling jokes? Hi.
We need Nashville songs, Duncan. Nashville's
Nashville's all, but yeah, it's all fucking.
Where's the songs? Come on.
Country music.
I don't care.
And a TV show starring the cheerleader from fucking Heroes.
Good old Nashville.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I actually went to see the live show. That's right. Saw the live show.
Was that your choice?
No, it wasn't.
I could tell there was something in your eye. Something in your eye that was like that. That's a fact. Well, listen.
It was tears. It was tears. It was in my eye, Duncan.
Was it total mush?
Almost.
Yeah.
It was just too much for this old heart.
That was too much. I got up and I went home.
Listen, I'm sure it was a great night, but it was not Boys to Men. Big
It
Davey
wasn't.
and Duncan.
Nothing.
First time.
Nothing will beat that.
They've
Nothing
been
will
out
beat
for
that.
what? They've been around for 15 years and then they finally came to Scotland and me and Dave were there and saw them live.
Yeah, we did.
And
We did.
found out that they were wildly impressive.
Nay band.
Was it like
Backing
I was about to
tracks.
say, was it they were over touring a Motown album? I'm
Yeah,
sure it was
that's
like
right.
a Motown album.
Yeah.
To me, you have a big brass band behind you. That's Motown. No, they sang to backing tracks and they opened and closed with the same song.
Yep.
Which, oh man, there we go.
I don't even remember what we're doing now. We're just talking about.
Utter shit discs.
Just
Let's do it. Right. Right, so who
Think-
lost? Kyle lost.
Do you think
I
we can
lost,
get to
which
the,
means
think
I
we can
win,
get
really,
to the
'cause
end
I
of
get
this
to-
stream without talking about our shit discs?
Probably.
That would be quite the feat. Like, oh
Let's try
yeah.
that.
Just,
Do we think anyone will ever believe us when we're saying we're going to do something again? No.
Yeah, we never planned to do this.
No.
We don't even have
This
lists.
is the ban. This is the pre-show banter.
it's just turned into the show now. I've been live for an hour.
What a banter.
Yeah.
Almost.
But listen,
great.
Listen. If you listen to fucking Joe Rogan never gets to the topic that he wants to talk about, which is COVID's a myth, until at least an hour and a half, or take like LSD and DMT. He doesn't speak about that for at least an hour and a half, and then he gets that bit of show done, and then the show finishes. So you get an hour and a half of him talking about comedy and the Comedy Store,
And then when he's done
Comedy.
talking the comedy, you turn it off because he's an asshole.
let's do this, Steve.
Yeah,
Okay,
come on,
Kyle.
Dave. Oh,
do you mean? It's Kyle, it's you.
It's me. It's
You're
all me.
number
It means
five. What's
I
your
get
number
to-
5?
I get to
What's your-
direct my ire first. This
Yes,
makes
you
me
do.
very happy.
Yeah.
To direct my ire at that
Fuck
one
you,
band
Bob.
with the weediest fucking singer I've ever heard of in my life. You know who it is.
The weediest singer.
Weedy
Weediest.
fucking singer that should just stick to playing fucking guitar, that has 2 side projects that nobody gives
Oh
a
man,
shit about.
I have this on my. If it's the one I think it is, it's on my list. so.
Hypnotized by System of a Down. Fucking hate
It's
that.
not the one I thought you were going to go with,
System
but
of a Yep.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely I just can't get over the fact that they have Serge Tankian and a fantastic lyricist and singer, and they let that weedy little fucking shit boy put his voice all over the whole thing and just ruin it. Just I
That
don't
sounds
know.
like the worst.
And like
the
everyone was
worst
like, "Oh my
thing
god, they're
ever came.
mixing it up. They put in all the things, all the reviews were like they're mixing it up and letting other people sing and stuff." And I'm just like, "This is not a good selling point. This is terrible. This is awful." I can't stand that little bastard. He's a great guitar player, writes really good songs, but I mean, just stop singing, just stop talking, sew your mouth shut, and just fucking shut up. I don't like that guy.
Well, I'm gonna remove one from my list then.
Was it the same one, or was it Mesmerized?
No, I had Steal This Album.
Oh yeah,
which is like worse than Mesmerized and Hypnotized. So
Yeah.
I'll remove that out there. And I kind of feel like we have to remove this one as well then, just to get this one out of the way, which was his side project, Scars on Broadway, which is fucking unlistenable, which everyone loved. I think its average on Metacritic is like 75%. So
Yeesh, that's a bit high.
So yeah, it is a bit high. So we'll remove that out there. So there we go.
Stories like tell us how you really feel. Like,
I'm not going to disagree with you. I think we spoke about this before. System of a Down have one amazing album. It's that debut album. Toxicity is a one-trick pony, and then everything after that is just
downhill. Yeah. Just stop. Should have stopped at 2 albums and just gone home.
Kearney just did like a retrospective of all the System of a Down stuff.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Kearney should go and do that with Stained, because he was the one that suggested it. So
yeah, you get fucking System of a Down. That wouldn't have minded so much.
No,
really?
I couldn't.
Really?
Well, the singer also plays keys. Amazing, right? And the guitarist can warble into a fucking microphone and make no sense and piss everybody off that hears it. But
legit couldn't go back through them. But what was Kearney's final thoughts? Did Kearney come in that they're misunderstood?
I think he.
Mike.
Yep. Kearney, I think you kind of, I think you disliked them originally, some of those albums, but you'd kind of came around them now. Is that right? I can't remember.
Each of the Kiss members will albums count this one. Yeah. If we're putting the utter shit list, can we have Gene Simmons at the top?
Yeah.
Is that alright?
Yeah, he would be, yeah, definitely.
Oh my god.
Love the first two. Yeah, I mean the first one's awesome.
Yeah.
Second one's alright.
The second one has what's interesting about the second one.
Good production. I like production on the second one.
The singles are better. Sorry, the singles are not the best part of the album. The songs that are not the singles are the best songs. It's weird. Yeah, I mean, I can see why they chose them, but it really is like they lost a lot of that edge.
Yeah.
You know, like, because the first album is really fucking dark in places, you know, so songs like Spiders and War.
Yeah,
and
it's
shit
not
like
a commercial album in the slightest.
No, and then they became, like, surprisingly commercial. I still don't know how that happened.
Edge from U2. Yeah, Jesus, all he ever does is on the guitar, is just and he just all of the effects. That's it. That's all he does.
Fucking sucks, man.
Fucking Celtic wank. I don't know.
Like Kyle is fired up and I am loving it. Right, Dave, I believe you're next.
Yes. Number 5. Okay. I think this band, the critics give this band a big soapy hand job regardless of the quality of the albums they put out. And they've had some good albums over the years, a couple of iconic albums. More so in the beginning of their career, in my opinion.
Oh.
But
are they British, Dave?
No, they're not.
All right, no, it's not. I think we're going to be Architects.
No. Fuck that.
But
when this album came out, I honestly couldn't believe some of the reviews that I was reading. Like 5-star reviews. Like NME called it. What was it they said? Astonishing, Kerrang 5Ks, exhilarating was the quotes from Kerrang, and I was just like, this is fucking unbelievable. This feels like the most phoned in fucking album I've ever heard. The band we've mentioned off air before we started this are Slipknot.
Yes, Dave.
The album is 2019's We Are Not Your Kind.
You know what? I'm gonna put a massive agree on that. And I'm a huge Slipknot fan.
Yeah. I listened to this again, obviously, this week, and there's not one memorable track on this album.
No.
If you ask someone, what's your favourite song off of We Are Not Your Kind, I guarantee you they'll struggle to name a track.
Yeah.
Guarantee you. It's such a forgettable album. It's a lazy album, a really fucking lazy album. A lot of reused ideas. There's a track on it when I was listening to it called Nero Forte, and it's basically duality Mark II. It's like same rhythm, same riffs. It's just like you've literally lifted that from another album and just kind of tweaked it a little bit for this one. Vocally, like, it's okay. Lyrically, there's some alright ideas, but the melodies sound like something ripped out a Stone Sour album.
Yep.
And then, I think, what was the one that I took a note of? Critical Darling. It sounds like right off a Stone Sour album. And also, it's far too fucking long. Like, just any momentum the album has just completely fizzles out by about the kind of track 7, track 8. This for me is like a 3-star album at best.
Yeah, a very best. Yeah. It's like,
let me loop in the back here, because I said if you named the one that I had written down, I would name the other one. I'm going to tag in the Grey Chapter along with it.
That was the other one I had.
I gave that a massive...
The Grey Chapter is... Yeah, the Grey Chapter to me is the album that I realised how important Paul was to the writing process.
Yep.
I reviewed that one for Rock and Reel, and I gave it a high score because it was a new Slipknot album, basically. But I mean, I was just so excited. But yeah, I even mentioned in that losing Paul was a huge deal, and Joey as well, because he wasn't there either. Yeah. So you losing both of them.
It really does, and it's noticeable that it's just not as inspiring. It's not as interesting. Yeah. The edge is gone. Like the edge was.
It's also because they let that fucking weirdo in the clown mask goddamn run everything now, and it's just.
But I think it's like I've said it before. Like, to me, Volume 3 is still, like, regardless where you land on that, Volume 3 is a really interesting album.
It is.
In fact, I would go as far as to say Volume 3 is their most interesting album.
Yeah.
Might not be the best album.
Yeah.
But it's the one where they really start to, introduction to guitar solos. There's some synth work in there that works really, really well. I think his melodies are a bit different than the kind of Stone Sour stuff he's doing. But it's just not, it's just not as produced as the other ones. Ross Robinson, for whatever reason, not Ross Robinson, Rick Rubin, for whatever reason, just made it sound a bit more organic, which some people like, some people don't. And then from that point, like, any interest that I could have possibly had in that band is kind of withered away. But yeah, those last 2 albums are... And this is why when everyone is so excited about them coming back, and they've got new music and new material, and the Acclaimed's up there doing it, it's the darkest thing we've ever done. I'm sure it is, mate. I'm sure it is. I can't wait.
A lot of darkness in a
I don't care if
house.
it's dark. I don't care if it's happy. I don't care if it's fucking sad. You know what I care about? Is interesting songs, and you guys haven't had it in over a decade.
At least All Hope Has Gone had, what is it, Duality, Psychosocial, Pulse of the Maggots. That was a great song. I really enjoyed that one. So I can name those right away. Anything off the Grey Chapter, I'm like, something about a devil.
Yeah, it drops right off. I've said it before. Like, to me, I think there's some bands that live too much in the idea of what the band should be as opposed to the songs they should be writing. And I think that's Slipknot in a nutshell. I think the idea and concept of Slipknot has more time and consideration. The fact that people spend more time talking about the masks they're going to wear for their upcoming tour than they do about the songs that they actually have written for their new album is the issue. And one day, that might get resolved. I don't think so. I think they're bloated. I think they're all rich as fuck, and I don't think they've got any interest anymore. They are basically the Kiss of heavy metal. So there we are.
But then again, it's still better than Corey Taylor's solo album.
Oh, that's right. Since we're upsetting everyone, let's go to me, and I'll upset some folk. Or maybe I won't actually. I don't know. Like, I have a list, and I have a list of ones that are like really popular bands, like the top tier, well respected bands that have just released shite. And that's where I'm going to pick from at first. I feel like the hype with this, even though I am not a big fan. Like, I'm not big. I appreciate some songs, and I appreciate the impact. These are one of the bands that I appreciate the impact on the genre of music that I enjoy, and that I can follow the through line of when people are like, oh, they totally sound like this band here, and that's how it's all stemmed out. I get that, whilst not enjoying the music. But I remember when this album was announced it was coming out, and how excited everyone apart from me got. And then the album dropped, and it scored ridiculously high across it, and to me it is mediocre. Like, it's just not all that great at all. There are flashes, small bits of like interest, and listening back to it now several years from its release, I found some of the guitar work at times is quite interesting. The big issue for me is the vocals, which are Just so bad. This album is called 13, and it's from the band Black Sabbath.
This was on my list, and strike that off.
Yeah, everyone was excited about this one coming back. Like I say, I've never been a big Black Sabbath fan. There are a handful of songs that I enjoy, but I can totally see when people talk about doom and stoner and sludge, and they go that, well, Black Sabbath has an influence. If you go back and listen to the early stuff, you can hear it. Like, you can hear that through line, you can hear that progression. It's there, it's tangible. Like, when people are like, without Iron Maiden, you wouldn't have Pantera. No, that's bullshit. Like, fuck off. You would. That doesn't make sense. But, 13 for me, I don't know, like, I'm not the target audience, but I literally, having read through the reviews online that I was getting at the time, where people are saying, you know, it's Iommi's best work, Ozzy's never sounded better, you know, like all this stuff, which is just not a representation on the album. If you listen to it, it is
just boring as fuck.
It's really, it's another one that is painfully forgettable.
Yeah. What I couldn't believe is two bands released an album called 13 that year, and they were both terrible.
But I can't, like, to me, like, if you, that's the thing, when you go back and read those reviews and you look at the Metacritic scores, I know. Like, it's a different album that everyone else listened to, because it was making top fives for big publications, and I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So once again, I think there are people that maybe feel that they need to display their metal card, and by saying you enjoy 13 as your displaying of a metal card, so you get instant respect. For me, I just be honest to myself, and it's not a good album.
It is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a good album.
Yep. Number 5 on my list is 13 by Black Sabbath.
I didn't know they had that album. I forgot all about it.
Yeah, there you go. You punched it from your mind.
What year did that come out?
2014 or something? 13?
Yeah, it was during the Rock and Reels.
Right. Yeah.
Because I did a little bit of research, jumped back and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Because I still have a copy of it.
Oh really?
So, yeah, I still have a copy of it. So
you see it on the shelf every now and then. Go, oh yeah, that exists. Fuck.
A digital copy. It's in my hard drive.
Ah, digital copy. So you never see it, and then it's just gone.
Digital. That's where it is. But yeah, so that's there you go. That's my first one. So far, no one seems to be upset in the chat. We're not doing our job right. Let's see if we can bring in a little upsetting title. Go on, Dave, spank it.
Live.
Kyle, it's up to you.
Oh, is it
me?
Oh,
it's Kyle next.
Sorry.
Dave, you can still spank it if you want.
Okay. I might upset a few people with this one. It's a Finnish band that everyone I knew back then used to fucking love, and all of the magazines and all the reviews I wrote were just like, this is incredible, and it's so much better than their previous album. And I'm just sat there going, well, I can hear the love, but where's the metal? It's him with love metal. And it was,
yay!
Fuck,
Dave hates him.
I hate him.
I like him.
You are welcome to. Because, Jesus, that band, I just fucking...
I don't get it.
No, me either. The first album was shit. Everybody said it was shit. And then the second album came out, I'm like, well, it's still shit. And I was like, no, it's great. I'm like, no, it's not. You got like one interesting riff on that whole album, and it's the single.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, they're
really good live.
Probably, and they would have to be with that crap music. You need something. Vilvelo, or whatever it is in Finnish, I don't know. But I can't get over how I had a friend.
Shots fired at Finland. I swear to God, he's like, no one's safe tonight.
Well, I mean, there's some good Finnish metal bands. A couple.
There's loads of great Finnish metal bands.
There's a couple. Kalmar is one of them.
Our dirty little favourite record labels, Fart Records, releases a ton of stuff from Finland.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's loads of good
stuff. Thus far has been good. It's just not in the heavy metal side. It's all that kind of folky, pagan.
Have you fucking seen Finnish names? Have you ever listened to a Finnish person? Nobody from any country except maybe Estonia can pronounce a Finnish name.
I worked with a man from Finland who sounded like he'd been like, when I first met him, I thought he was part Chinese, part Italian, because his name was Heikki Visanto. So I was like, that's part Japanese, part Italian, but no, I'll finish.
Yeah.
Spoken in an American accent as well. That was weird.
They do, well, because like all of the media and stuff is in American accents. They pick it up. My daughter's the same. She sits there and she's like, "Hi, Papa." I'm like, "Stop with the American accent. You got to say hello." And she's like, "Oh God, no, I'm not saying that."
Right, you know what you need to do? Cups of tetly. Sit down, get on the tetly.
Yeah,
I'll sort it out.
that's what I should do.
All right. I thought you meant like throw it in her face. Like
No.
no.
You don't throw scalding hot tea at a child, Dave.
I was going to say
Is that how you get them in the van, aye?
In
the van.
Get in the
Throw
van
tea in
and
her
it gets the
face,
tea
get in the van.
again.
Although I was watching some prison show the other night,
Fucking hell.
and it was about like real prisoners, and one of the tricks they use is they boil the kettle, then they put sugar in it, and then when they throw it on someone, it basically like almost
Melts
like
them.
crystallizes and melts their
Yeah.
face. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I want
Okay.
you guys to remember that I didn't ruin the conversation this time. That was Dave.
Anything to do with prisons, I'm there.
Well, I understand, and one day you're going to end up there. I
Yeah,
mean,
well, hopefully.
it's a given. I'm glad that you've done all your research.
I have a cellmate like Pete Steele.
They can wrap it round you.
Keep me warm.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad that you're hugging me. Wait 1 second, that's not your arm.
Yeah.
Right, so him. And what was the name of the
Um,
album again?
Valley Valley. What's
Love
that?
metal. Love
What's his name again?
metal. Like
Billy Vallow.
Billy
Valley
Vallow.
Vallow.
That is
Valley
the
Valley.
best Scottish impression of a Finnish name.
Valley
I've ever
Valley.
heard. Billy
Billy
Valley.
Valley. Billy
You
Valley's
better watch out,
a
Finnish
drunk
man.
trying-
You're in the Valley of the Villies.
A Billy Valley's what happens when you take a pee up an alleyway. I mean, just going for a wee Billy Valley. You know what I mean? Give it 2 minutes.
Okay.
What is going on tonight? Oh my
I
god.
don't know. It's all gone
It
wrong.
must be someone's birthday.
It's your birthday.
It's your birthday. Number 4,
From me was Love Metal by him, and it was
Valley Valley.
Fuck.
Number 4 for me. Okay, I'm going a wee bit more serious here, gents. A wee bit
Uh-oh.
more serious. I don't think this is going to upset anyone on the call as such.
Well, that's
Maybe.
not good enough, Dave. Change it.
Well, I'm saving those. In the chat, maybe. My number 3 is from one of the biggest bands
Four.
in...
Number 4. 4.
Number 4, sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Oh,
Number
good, yeah.
4.
Stop
My
jumping
number
ahead.
4. Sorry. Number 4 is from one of the biggest bands in metalcore. They have had a few albums that have been regarded as classics or critically acclaimed.
Sound like one of my old teachers from the south of England.
Classics.
I like one of Kel's teachers that was trying to teach him Shakespeare. He's like, "I'm going to do Romeo and Juliet. His class is a classic." Fucking hell.
Oh, Lord,
Um,
no! She added your quote.
It's when you take a pee up the alley. That's it. The Billy Valley. The Billy Valley. There you go.
Oh no! can't
Right.
breathe.
So like
Yes, we do.
metalcore,
We do.
classic.
Yeah, I've never understood the hype for this band, to be honest. But kind of like you said with that last one, they get compared to a lot. You know, this band sounds a bit like this other
right, yeah,
band.
yeah.
They're one of these bands. I've tried with this album on a number of occasions, just because it gets mentioned so many times. The band is Trivium,
Oh really?
Oh, where are we going with this one?
and the album.
I had the one on my list. I took it off. So.
Did you?
Yes.
The album is 2005's Ascendancy.
No.
Oh, right. That's not the one I had. It's not the one I had.
Yeah, there was a couple. There was it Shogun's other one, and
In Waves, I think, is the most derivative piece of shit ever.
right, this one seems to appear on the top of lists all the time.
Is that that's the one that came out with? Was it Pull Harder? Strings on the Motor. Is that the name of that song? The big single they had.
Yeah, I think.
Yes,
it
I
might
remember that album. Yeah.
be. I was listening to it again, like the last couple of days, been listening to this album, and I was like, this is basically like if you took Shadows Fall,
Yeah.
and you throw in some kill switch engage, and added a wee bit of like an old school kind of thrash undertone, and that's basically what you've got in Trivium. But the issue I have is it's not nearly as good as the aforementioned bands.
Yeah.
And well, you know, they don't have the killer edge of a band like Shadows Fall or have the hooks of a band like Killswitch, in my opinion. But it came far too late to the party, in my opinion. Like, you'd already had like Alive or Just Breathing or The End of Heartache or The Art of Balance all before this album, years, like 2 or 3 years before this. And it's just like, really? Mm-hmm. Why is this like regarded as...
like trying to use my... Try to recall why. Wasn't it because he was super young when that album came out? Wasn't he?
It was.
I think that was the word. Like, touting him as a bit of a. He's obviously continued with his success, but I think at the time it was a case of he was still, if he was 20, he just turned 20.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and you know, like he was out there, and he predominantly wrote all the stuff. He was like a guitar prodigy, which I think is maybe where they were leaning on. I'm with you. Like, to me, I never quite got it.
No, still don't.
Like, because the bands are within that genre that they would have toured with, or been aligned with, I found more interesting. Like, you mentioned things like Shadow Falls and all the rest, but by then we'd already had like the Impossibility of Reason by Chimera, so we're already getting that heavier edge to things. And then they came out, and that the album is. To me, when they started moving more towards they have that one album that just sounds like James Hetfield singing. It's amazing. Like when they moved that way, that to me is where they always should have kind of been.
Yeah.
But it's like thrash wasn't that brand of thrash wasn't that popular then. So it's kind of almost like the way to get in here is do the metalcore stuff and then go that way is a weird vehicle to get in.
Yeah.
And it never really worked for me, but it was huge, that album. That album was fucking massive.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to it and I thought there's maybe 3 songs that kind of stood out with like a big hook, but I thought the rest is really forgettable for me. And I can appreciate like that they are young, as you said. Like, I think he was about 20 years old when this came out.
Yeah.
So I think it's impressive, from that point of view. But the most, again, it's like a 3.5 out of 5 at the most for me, anyway. I just find it a very kind of middle of the road metalcore album, but everyone fucking loves it.
And their biggest problem is that they inspired young people in Wales to form a band called Bullet for My Valentine. Infinitely worse.
Yeah.
Infinitely worse.
Yep. I roadied for them in Plymouth, and they're lovely, but they suck.
Oh man, yeah. No, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. Where to
number
go?
4. Where's Duncan going to go with his number 4?
Yeah, let's do this one as well. I'm just taking shots at the biggest named bands ever. These feel like this feels like low hanging fruit here because I think it was the first album in like a decade, and not very good. And this is a band that, once again, if you gave me their greatest hits album, I would listen to shit out of this. I regularly listen to it when running on the treadmill or going out for a run. Their music has that, like, what I'm going to say is when Thunderstruck kicks in, it's very difficult not to get your second win. But Black Ice is a terrible album, right? And Black Ice made top 10 lists for the year it came out. And everyone was, oh yeah, they're back doing their thing. And I'm like listening to. By then, Airborne were out as well, which didn't help. And Airborne were like the younger version that could play those songs at the right speed. And you know what I mean? Well, you never want like a clone of you that sounds just like you when you were at your prime to go out there and be performing. It's like that time I went to see I saw Def Leppard and Motley Crue headline a tour in Scotland, and they were supported by Steel Panther, who blew both bands off the stage, like completely blew it by being a parody of the two bands that were headlining. You know what I mean? Like that's what you've got to watch when the younger bands are doing your shtick and doing it better than you. Black Ice is just a really... We're going to be using the word forgettable a lot. Yeah. It's just a really painfully forgettable album. There is not one Highway to Hell on it. There's no Thunderstruck on it.
There's nothing... fucking stupid name for an album too.
Yeah. But hey, listen, Black Ice is dangerous, Kyle.
Because it's forgettable and you can't see
it. But I just like it's the thing of it, like on paper, it's got a great production because it's fucking AC/DC and they can afford it, right? Technically, it's not a bad album, right? But the problem is the band wrote all their best songs several decades before, and it just feels like a continuation of a journey to continue writing. Seamus. Black Eyed Cedar sounds like Wesley Snipes movie or a cologne. Oh, it's been on black. So
it's a Halloween version of Smirnoff Ice.
Yeah.
They mixed all the dyes together.
But it's just like, I don't know, like, if you listen to it, and the only reason it's on here, and this is why I'm saying it's kind of low-hanging fruit for me, if you listen to the album, there's nothing about it that draws any sort of ire until you read the reviews.
Yeah.
And then you, like, that's what draws it out of me, because it's a beige album. But to read what, like, if you read the, once again, Metacritic scores, where it landed in top 5, top 10, top 20 lists.
What?
You look at that, it went super high, and it's reviewed really, really well across, and it's the return to form for the band. And I'm like, is it a return to form? Is it really?
Did they ever lose their form? They just seem to do the same thing over and over again, album by album. This one was just like, eh.
Yes, it's no better or no worse than the previous 2 albums.
Right. And
the previous 2 albums were beige as well. So I like, but the internet, which I love because it gives me free boobies. The internet, and the touch of a button, boom. That is why the internet is amazing, right? Yes, there's a lot of bad people out there, but boom, right in my face, jiggly. But I just don't get. I don't get. I think even if you were a hardcore AC/DC fan and that album dropped, I can't imagine you going, "This is the album I've been waiting a decade for."
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't do anything different, and bands sadly get to that stage where they can't do. I'm saying that, but then there are other bands that are not like that. Tool is a great example of a band that completely, they don't release on the same level, but when they come back with a different album, it is Tool, but it sounds different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a different. Meshuggah, a great example.
Yeah.
Like bands, we've got bands now that are up over the 30-year mark that are consistently, reinventing themselves as they release albums.
Napalm
and for whatever
Death,
reason,
somehow.
Yeah, Napalm Death, great. 85 was their first album, so they're almost 40 years old as a band.
Yeah.
And their album last year fucking floored me.
Yeah.
So you put that there, and you take that, and then you look at a band like AC/DC that have been on the go, it must be 50 plus years.
Too long.
And at some point in the 80s, they were like, this is our sound, and never moved on from it.
Yeah. And
you
can do a lot with that sound as well. It's not like,
yeah, like you can do a lot with that sound. Like get Axl Rose in for an entire tour.
Guns and DC.
Yeah, so there you go. That's my one. It felt like low hanging fruit. I'm going to get that. The next one I'm going to mention is going to upset people. So.
Yeah. Well, now Lisa's here, so you got to be careful.
What's happening?
Lisa's just arrived, so you got to be careful.
Mike, I would totally watch Black Ice, White Fire, starring Wesley Snipes and Michael Rappaport.
I would do that in 100%. A second. Is Lisa arrived? Lisa's in the house.
Also,
hi, Lisa.
Hello. Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. That's the Hi, Lisa song.
It's
huge, short. Gets right to the point.
Huge bags.
What? You talking about my tits again? I'll have you know you will not body shame me on this show, right? This is a safe space, Dave. I'm reporting you HR.
Out on HR.
I was going to say that's Dave anyway, so good luck. Dave's going to have to give himself a very stern talking to.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he does it every morning when he's looking at his penis. Anyway, right. Easy now. Let's get away from Pete Steele's dick. Right. Back onto Kyle. Kyle, number 3 on your list.
Number 3 on my list. I don't know what to pick. They're all going to upset someone, I think.
Come on, Kyle.
Oh, upset everyone.
Upset everyone. I know, I'm going to go with it. This one came out in 2001, I think, and I fucking hated it from the first thing, and everybody goddamn loved it. Everyone I know loves it. Actually, I've got one or two friends that don't like it quite as much as everyone else.
Is it Dave and Duncan?
You know. But they are both in my band, so you might as well be.
Oh.
But it just gets so much praise, and I just don't see it, and everybody loves it that I know of, except for these other people. But it's Reinventing the Steel by Pantera.
Oh, get yourself to fuck.
See, everyone, I hate it. I can't stand the production.
That's
I can't stand the guitar
Kyle.
tone. Dimebag was an amazing player and all this stuff. They're all really good musicians, but I just can't stand this fucking album. Just can't take
Think
it.
it's shite?
Yeah, I just think it's shit.
What?
Yeah.
It's very average compared to the rest of their catalogue.
It's goddamn electric. That's what it is.
I mean, just
It's got a
because
couple of good
the
tracks.
instruments use electricity doesn't mean the album is electric.
Yeah, it's got a couple of good tracks, but it's not an amazing Pantera.
It's my least favourite. So
Yeah, 100%.
yeah. So yeah, from that then, you're right.
Yeah, everyone's just like, good job, Kyle. No, mute Kyle. No, why did you do that? See, it's one of those things. I just can't stand it. I can't fucking listen to it. I
wouldn't
time
say
a
I
song,
couldn't stand
I
it.
can't
though.
stand it. Every time that grating fucking guitar tone comes on a speaker, I'm like, just turn it off. It makes me want to die. I hate listening to it.
They did like a remix of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did
really?
you ever hear the
It was
remix?
better, yeah.
Oh, I did not hear that because I hated it so much. So maybe I'll go and give that a go.
Lisa, fuck you, Kyle. This is why Lisa's here, and I'm
Yeah,
happy
there
now.
we go.
Restoring Order. Yeah, they got. I'm sure it was Andy. There was an Andy Sneap that got to do it.
Oh,
The-
probably did a good job then.
Yeah, he did all the other stuff apart from that album.
That'll explain why. I mean, the stuff that came before that wasn't the best mixed either, but he was
Yeah.
good by the time the mid 2000s rolled around. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll try and find the remaster and give that a shot because I mean, honestly, I can imagine the songs are pretty good, but I just couldn't get past.
The songs are
It's
okay.
just
Like Dave's right.
yeah.
There's about four songs that are I think that are kind of not classic Pantera songs, but are good really good ones. But the rest is it kind of feels like slightly better Damage Plan.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, that transition. I remember a lot of people being like, "Oh, they've totally changed their sound." I'm like, well, you didn't listen to Reinventing still. It was kind of going that way. It was kind of already heading that way. But yeah, I mean, I can't remember that being. But then again, I can't remember what the reviews or maybe everyone was high on life on that. I thought that was the one that people didn't. I thought I was the reverse. I thought everyone didn't like that album, and I was the one that did. So.
Everyone loves that album, and I'm just like going, I don't see it, but you're more than welcome to like it.
Right, you guys continue talking about Pantera while I go and refresh my drink. Because I'm not clearly drunk enough on this podcast. I'll be right back.
Well, it's your turn, Dave, so... Or we can hate on this album a bit more, I don't know.
Yeah, if you want.
No,
I've
said all I want to say about it.
I wasn't a massive fan of it. It's the one that I go back to least out of their catalogue. But when I listened to the remix remaster, it only came out. Was that last year? I think it was last year. It was better, definitely better.
I'm gonna go give that a listen then, because then I can give it a proper chance. But I just couldn't get past it. It was just like, it grated so much. I mean, a lot of Pantera does to me, to be honest. But at least I can get past some of it and enjoy a lot of their songs. Like Cemetery Gates, I do not like that song. I don't know why.
Really?
I just don't like it. It's just not my thing. The guitar tone is not nice, and I just don't like the stop and start of it all. It just sets me off, and I'm just fucking carry the groove on, you know?
That is my favourite album, front to back. I love Cowboys from Hell.
I love the album, just don't like that song. Yeah, I'm just like, just can't do it.
Cemetery
I don't know
Gates.
what it is. I know.
Everything
Everyone's like, this is amazing, and I'm like, nah, not for me.
Do you not like Pantera? Is this what we're getting to?
I like Pantera. I never saw Pantera live. I didn't get a chance to do that, but I enjoy Pantera a great deal. Just not this album and not the song Cemetery Gates.
Oh, Cemetery Gates is so good, man.
See, everyone loves it, and I'm just like, sorry, it's not for me.
My current new obsession is watching vocal coaches on YouTube discover Cemetery Gates. And being like watching their mind be blown as Phil continues to hit those notes at the end and be like, how does he do it? Like there's a great one just now that I heard I can't remember what her name is, the opera vocal coach or something. I'll need to find the video and I'll post it in Discord so people can check it out. But she's just found Judas Priest. And her facial expressions to watching Rob Halford is like you can physically see her face just not understanding how he's able to do it. Which I like because he hits a and she's like, he switched to vibrato when he's torn. And I'm like, yep, that's Rob Halford. That's what he does.
Welcome to metal.
Yeah, welcome. Right, so we had Pantera with Reinventing the Steel for Kyle's number 3. Davey boy, you ready to drop the D?
Number 3.
Mike, yeah.
Cemetery Grace. Aye. Fucking none of that, Mike.
Great.
I'm not sure where to go with this number 3. I'm not sure where I'm going to go. Do I go with this one?
Go on. You've got a playful look in your eye.
I'm gonna keep the ones that are going to upset you to the end, I think. So my number 3 came out in the old, maybe not in the peak of new metal, but maybe just kind of slightly after, in 2003. Although this album, it does have new metal qualities, but it kind of leans into kind of radio rock territory as well. So it's maybe like more kind of like PG new metal, I suppose. There had been some kind of huge releases that were probably comparable to this album slightly. Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory being one of them. But I think kind of like the trivia issue I had, I feel like this album maybe came out a couple of years too late. And it suffered from this. I don't know if you guys have listened to the Spirit Box album, but it's kind of suffered from that same thing where the singles were absolutely milked dry. Yeah. And then by the time the album came out, the rest of the album was a little bit kind of underwhelming.
I'm 100%. This is why I keep saying, like, just FYI to anyone out there that knows any bands or works with any record labels or anything else, please, please, please do not release 5 singles from your album before your album comes out. A year before your album comes out.
I mean, Holy Roller did fucking amazing things on the internet, but it came out so long ago that it was like that, and the other one was it Hurt You? Those 2 singles were really fucking strong, and then by the time the album came out, I mean, I like the album, I think it's decent, but it's maybe not as good as a lot of people were expecting. So yeah, my number 3 is again one that got really fucking crazy reviews.
Stretching this out like a motherfucker.
But the band are Evanescence.
Wow.
Fallen from 2003.
Tell you what, that was on my list too, so now I've only got 4.
Was it?
No, it was, yeah.
Fucking 17 million copies sold worldwide.
What?
One of the biggest selling albums of the 21st century.
Yep.
And again, like one of the worst things they could have done was the 2 big singles. They'd released obviously mega early, and then they placed them number 1 and number 2 on the album in order. So it was just like, it just felt like after those 2 singles, it just kind of goes,
yeah,
you know, and it takes a big fucking downward spiral after that. The rest of the album is just beige, generic, and just never manages to live up to those 2 singles. But it didn't seem to stop it getting 5-star ratings from fucking various websites. But I listened to it again like this week, and it hasn't aged well anyway.
No, God, no. You listen to that and you're like, whoo, that's some old shit.
But those 2 kind of big singles aside, it is just a absolutely repetitive and dull listen from start to end, really. I don't understand the hype that album got at all.
I mean,
not at all.
That first single I heard, what was it, Bring Me to Life? Great song, not going to lie. I enjoyed that quite a lot. But yeah, the rest of it was like, cool.
I like it till the rap kicks in. The rap bit to me doesn't work.
Oh, I forgot about the rap bit.
Yeah, everyone forgets about the rap bit. You're like, oh, fuck off. Right? Fuck off. Like, I don't know what it is about it. Like, I always approached Evanescence kind of cynically, and there was all those bands like Nightwish and that doing their thing, and doing it really, really, really fucking well. And to get any attention in the States, an American band had to do a wishy-washy version of it. And I hate that shit. It's just lazy. Just fucking lazy and cynical. So yeah. There we go. Nah. Right, let's do a heavy hitter. It's not even placed third, but I'm going to do it because everyone's far too fucking happy right now. When I mentioned the idea for doing this in the last Twitch stream, this was the album that I had in mind.
Oh.
Right. because this is the one that gets you kicked out of metal parties if you're having a metal party. I've never been to a metal party, but this will get you.
Who's
kicked
having
out
metal parties? What is a metal
I don't know.
party?
Let's find
Can
out.
someone arrange one so we can figure out what the fuck this is?
And
then kick Duncan out of it.
And then we'll kick me out when you hear what I said. Just play this on. Just get a clip of this, and that'll work. So yeah, this band, right now, are one of the most inconsistent bands in metal, right? Yet they are considered one of the top tier bands. Like if you're going through it since the early 90s, they have consistently been seen as the next, these standard bearers, and all the rest. But this band has consistently struggled with identity crisis. So these guys are not the AC/DC scenario that I mentioned before, in that they just changed whatever is selling, and then they try to claim some sort of fucking integrity, and there isn't any there, right? This album is widely regarded as one of the best albums in the previous decade, right? Widely regarded.
I can't even hazard a guess as to who this is.
Right?
I'm so lost.
And absolutely, honestly, that it was 10 out of 10s and 5 out of 5s across the fucking board, right? And bored is the right word, because listening to it is boring. It even has the audacity to open with a 10-minute song. 10 minutes of fucking shite, right? And I'll be honest with you.
Duncan, the chat's going to explode if you need to tell them what it is. Yeah.
I've told you I need to make them angry.
Is there an actual album at the end of this rant?
No. It's all a joke. It really is. This is their high-scoring album. This is the album which apparently made them classic. And it is Machine Head, and it is The Blackening. One of the most painfully boring albums ever fucking written. The guitar solos, which everyone goes, the guitar solos are not great. The problem with Machine Head is they released The Ashes of the Empire, right? Right. It's not their best album, so that's wrong.
Album, the chat says.
No, their best album is their first album.
It's Burn My Eyes, yeah.
Yeah. By a country fucking mile. And you want to know why it's their best album? Because it's the one that actually is Machine Head, right? Because that's see when a band releases an album the first time, that album is the way the band wants to sound, and then every album after that sounded completely different and was kind of what they wanted to sound like. So by the time you get to the Burning Red, that's their new metal album, or at least we thought it was until Supercharger got released, which was really their new metal album, which got them dropped off their record label. Remember that?
Yeah.
Anyone remember? Roadrunner dropped them, and then they released Through the Ashes of Empires, which weirdly came off the back of all those metalcore bands you were talking about, Dave. It's interesting that they came back doing a metalcore album. It's kind of interesting, and then all of a sudden everyone was interested again, and it's almost as if Rob Flynn was like, people like this shit. Let's just make it longer and more boring. And that's essentially what you get. The Blackening is just a boring fucking album for people that pretend to enjoy music. I don't honestly. I wouldn't even give it a middle of the road score. I would give it like a low score for being boring. Rob Flynn doesn't even sound good on it. It's in that stage where he's morphed away from being cool Rob Flynn to once again want to try and sound like James Hetfield. James Hetfield is not a great vocalist. Like, why does everyone want to sound like James Hetfield? It's just, but if you read the reviews for it, you would honestly think they had invented thrash metal. You know what I mean? You would honestly have thought that they'd invented thrash metal. That they created a time machine, they jumped in their DeLorean, went back to 1982, wiped out Metallica, and then, like, honestly, I was reading the reviews and I was going, this is just nonsense. Absolute fucking nonsense. And you know what's telling about it? Is every album they've released since then has been scored in or around the Blackening level, because everyone's scared to call it for what it is. Boring. It's so boring. Oh man, it's long. It's such a long album. That first Machine Head album was, what, 40 minutes? If that.
Yeah.
40 minutes, and it is wall-to-wall bangers. Ain't 1 second of boring anything on that album. The blackening is fucking full of just tedium. That's what they should have called it. The tedium. I told you I wasn't going to make any friends. So there you go.
Speaking of 40 minutes, next up.
You're welcome.
I mean, it's not my favourite album by them. I don't think I hit it as much as you, but I can see where you stand.
Hopefully after 40 minutes of me talking about it.
We've all got Stockholm Syndrome now.
Yeah.
To your opinion.
I don't like that album either, actually, to be honest.
It's boring.
Very underwhelming.
Yeah, Dave. That's it. Right, number 2. Right, someone has to beat that. Someone has to get the chat as riled up as I did.
Oh.
I don't think you can do it.
Kyle?
Oh, is it me? Fuck me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 2. All right, this is a band I actually like now, but when I first heard their first album, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Up with this I will not put. I couldn't believe, and I still can't listen to it now. I hate it. I hate this album. And I don't get what happened in the switch between the first and second album, why I love the second one and all the other albums they did after that so much. It's a Swedish band.
In Flames? Have you got In Flames?
No, In Flames, they started off pretty strong and just sucked for the past 10 years. I mean, there's no other way to put it. The albums they've put out the past decade have just been like... like, In Flames have a new album, and the whole world just went, who gives a fuck? No, this is Opus Eponymous by Ghost.
Oh,
Their very first album. Their very first album. Cannot stand it.
Shots fucking fired.
Cannot stand it. The songs are boring. The guitar tones are fucking shit.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, Kyle. More.
It's
more.
just...
More.
It's horrific, and I understand why so many people are just like, yeah, Ghosts suck. I was like, yeah, Ghosts suck. Ghosts fucking suck, you know? And then they released their second album, and I was like, Ghosts no longer suck.
No, they still suck.
And I love everything they've done since then. But that first one, every time it comes up on Spotify, I'm like, skip, can't do it, just cannot stand it. Absolutely. Yeah. It's got like, I don't know what the fuck they did with their guitars. It's like they attacked them with chainsaws and then recorded the sound, and it was bad. And then it's just boring singing and it's just... I like the imagery of the Pope dude.
I feel like it's the chainsaw sounding guitars I can't quite equate to, because they don't sound like chainsaws did.
No, it sounds like a chainsaw is attacking a guitar, and then they just put a microphone up to that, and they were just like, yeah.
It's a really clean sounding.
It's fucking terrible. I don't know.
He hates all Ghost, by the way. It's
a shite album.
Yeah, I
like it.
It's no surprise they got super popular off their second album, because that is untouchable in how good it is. I love that album. It's amazing.
Every metal star was wearing the t-shirt from the first album.
Yeah, which is like, why? It sucks. I mean, just
really
they should just forget it and just drop it off their goddamn.
Oh man, my favourite thing, one of my favourite videos, you can find it on YouTube, it's I think it might be Rock and Ring, and Dim are playing, and Dim go out on, I think it's Bury Me and Smoke is what they're playing at the end, and they just continue like playing the riff, and then Ghosts come out on stage and swap guitars with them, and they continue playing the song to go into their set.
That's awesome.
Fucking wicked.
Cool as fuck.
Fucking wicked. Because Big Phil Anselmo loves that album, and if Phil Anselmo loves that album, it's a fucking great album. So.
See, I saw Ghost after they released the second album, and I was there going Hail Satan and all that. It was amazing. Machine, no, don't give me that. I just hate their first album. But it's not like I just don't like it. I fucking hate it. And if anybody puts it on, I'm turning it off because it's crap.
I would switch it on right now, but we can't do that on Twitch.
But all their other albums are godlike, and I will defend them to the death of how good those albums are.
Do you like those songs played live then?
Huh? No.
There's an interesting one. You don't even like them played live?
I just can't do it. I can't take it. I think they're boring, ridiculous songs that just have no business being heard by anyone.
Yes, let the hate flow through you. Get Emperor Palpatine in the background there.
I almost had this in my list.
Really? Huh.
That album though.
Yep, that album. Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Is that the
album.
High Strength album? I thought you would go with one of their bigger albums, no?
Nah.
Yeah,
I mean, I could have picked any of
shots.
them, but
They're all shite, Duncan. I mean, when sitting at the shit buffet, it's hard to pick first.
Workout done. Time for tea.
nice.
After tea
Nice,
work.
Kel.
After workout tea. Yeah. I
that
can't.
ruffled a few feathers there, Kel. Nice, well done.
Nines.
Fuck it.
Ruffled nines. I don't think anyone else generally got ruffled. Everyone, yeah. Everyone else is hashtag Team Kyle at the moment. You didn't get.
Oh,
them riled up
Machine's
like
not.
that with
Machine.
a whacking.
Machine and I have been friends for a long time, and I think that friendship just ended.
I now see the emoji.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry I had to end this way. It's been a good 5-6 years. It's over.
Right, Dave, you're number 2.
All right. Number 2. Here we go. Let's get in the good stuff, boys. Let's get in the good stuff.
Dumped.
Oh, shit.
Hashtag dumped.
Here. This is where this Twitch stream lives up to its name. Utter shit discs.
Oh yes, Dave.
Here we go. My number 2. Okay, so I mean, I am not a fan of this band. Never have been a fan of this band. And I may have mentioned it in passing before, on reviews, on the podcast, whatever. But this album, with its fucking 5-star reviews, can go and get fucked with Pete Steele's fucking massive cock.
For anyone just coming in halfway through this chat, the first 25 to 30 minutes of the Twitch stream was talking about the legend that was Pete Steele's massive penis. Right, so that's why Dave is mentioning it right now. For context, please go back and listen to the beginning of this Twitch when it appears on YouTube at the Metal Epidemic, and listen to all the talk about veiny members. Hey,
I think my next emote is going to be
Roger?
a saddle.
Yeah, a saddle. Doesn't it, like, logistically make zero sense, but it's fucking hilarious. Right, Dave.
Or
who's getting fucked with the
My number 2 is
24-inch Python?
an album from 2016.
Oh.
The album is called Metal Resistance. And the band are Baby
Shots
Metal.
fired!
Baby
Are you going to upset
fucking
anyone
metal.
except me on this one?
Well, that's fine. This album can go and get fucked. This is utter fucking dog shit. This band, if you can call them a band, all right, they're not a band.
Technically, they are a band.
They are not a fucking band.
I mean, we could get a dictionary right now and
Right.
you know, check up the word band, and I'll prove they are a band.
They're fucking manufactured pish. But anyway, this album, they try and cram as many genres as possible into this, but it just makes it sound like a fucking mess. There is no flow. There is no cohesiveness to this album whatsoever. Even with the various styles in this album, the song structures are actually really fucking basic. The hooks are predictable as fuck. The riffs are generic fucking trash. Those breakdowns were cool in 2004, but in 2016, come on to fuck. Get some better fucking riffs than that. There's nothing here that warrants a 5-star review from anybody. And if they are giving it 5 stars, they're smoking those envelopes. Because it's fucking paid for fucking reviews.
I am loving that smoking those envelopes is something that I have given to this chat tonight.
They dish out every fucking cliche in the fucking book on this album, both musically and in the production, which is cookie cutter as fuck. I am just fucking disgusted with this album. It is, and I might be in the minority here, but for me there is nothing.
Like, look at the chat. The chat's all like, "Yay, go Dave, Hercules." Everyone's like,
This is fucking pish. There's nothing about this album that deserves the recognition they get. And those websites that threw 5 stars at this should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Fucking pedos smoking fucking envelopes.
Cookie cutter is apparently kryptonite to Scots.
I've never seen Dave so
Wait,
animated
that is
in
a
my
clip.
life.
Get a clip of Dave saying cookie cutter. That's good. It's my new ringtone.
Oh man, I
Fuck
would
that
love to
album.
start a punk band called
Fuck that
Veiny
band.
Members. Yeah.
I fucking hate this band. And
You
I
know
hate
Put the
that
cookie
album.
down.
Get it to fuck. Get it to fuck.
Get the fuck. Is Dave okay? I don't know. I don't think he is.
Oh man.
I mean, I'm totally on
done.
the fence with that album. I don't care either way.
If I was holding my mic, I'd drop it right now, but I can't because it's attached to this stand.
Just unscrew it, boom, and then screw it back on.
I've seen them live. They were amazing.
Fuck
so.
you.
Yeah, I've seen them live. They were amazing. So.
Bullshit.
Shit hot live. Shit hot
Fucking
live.
What's
Pedos.
up,
A lot of
Electric
you.
Kitty?
Pedos.
Including the bit where every member of the band went up and did their thing. It was amazing. Yep. Anyway, Dave, the man who doesn't like light in his life. Jesus. Holy fuck. Right. Let's just take this one. This is not the one that I'm putting forward, right? But let's just take it off the list here because none of us have mentioned it, and let's be fair, it's probably because we all thought it was the easiest fucking.
We might still be mentioning it. We've still got a couple to go here.
Well, I'm taking off the list. Then. Taking off the list.
What
Taking it
happened
out
to honourable
right now
mentions?
before we all have aneurysms by rage. Can we take Lulu off the list by Metallica?
It's
Lulu,
too easy, though.
Look at your face. Like, look at your face, Dave. I just want to remind you right now that both Metal Hammer and Kerrang scored Lulu incredibly fucking high.
Really?
Bold. A bold vision. A collaboration that everyone needed to hear.
100 bits for Dave's pure rage. Thanks, Lisa.
Right? So,
Thank you, Lisa.
and it's awful. It's like I will take Baby Metal any day of the week over Lulu by Metallica, right? So I'm taking that one out of the list. It's away. Right, this one surprised me actually because it'd been a while since I've been back to listen to it. I actually dislike this album by a band who, for the most part, score really high with me overall. This album, granted, it came out a little while ago now, so it was not the last decade there, but the one before, I believe. But this one is Watershed by Opeth.
Ah.
What?
Yeah. Not a fan of this one. Like, so I went back, I've been listening to shitloads of Opeth. Stop, put the hands back down.
Oh, wait a minute.
Put the hands back down.
Come on.
Put the hands back down.
That's not an utter shit disc. Come on. I maybe dislike it,
you
but
literally just said on your reviews that you've been given albums 3 out of 5. And that's what constitutes an utter shit disc to you with Trivium.
yeah.
Right? So I would give this album a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Yeah, I'd give it a 3 out of 5. You with me? Come on.
Opeth.
Yeah,
We're talking
for
about the
this
same
album.
Opeth here.
Yep, Watershed by Opeth, right? Opeth is a
No.
band, right? Give me a
No,
second.
no.
Give me a second. Let me put my case out here. So let me use the word manufactured and cookie cut. No, I'm not joking. Right, so like I went back to listen to a bit. Essentially, I remembered there was an album that Opeth had released that people weren't too keen on, right? And so I did my due diligence, went back, checked the internet, went back through them year by year, listened to a shitload of... I've had a lot of time on my hands recently. I've been off work for a couple of weeks, so I've been listening to a lot of Opeth. And that's a weird blip for me. It's a weird blip. And I genuinely can't put my finger on exactly why it doesn't work for me. But it doesn't work for me. The albums either side are, like, to me, a lot better. I don't know if this is like, it feels like this is the beginning of like the first major transition that they actually go through, like as a group, and I don't like the production on it. I think the songs once again are a bit long in parts, not nearly as interesting as
Opeth.
yeah, right,
They play long songs.
yeah, but they should be interesting, Dave.
Oh, fuck off.
Should be interesting. If you're gonna
This
play
should
long
not
songs,
be on your list.
if you're gonna play
Get
long
that.
songs. You're gonna play long songs, make them interesting, and they're not
That-
that interesting. They're not that interesting.
that
Vocally,
album-
I don't find it all that interesting either. Actually,
Oh,
and that's the bit that usually
fuck
hooks
off.
me in.
Fuck
Give
off.
me some of that,
Get
and
it.
it's not as good. It's not
Get
as
it.
good.
Eject.
So yeah, it's one of these ones that. Oh wait 1 second. Oh wait 1 sec. Oh, Paul agrees with me, but I don't know if I'll like this. Right now.
Kind of agree. No, that's not an agreement. That's a
That's
kind
it. I kind of agree. This is the start of them becoming proper prog. It's a transitional. It's weird. There's a change. You listen to the albums either side of it, and it's just there's something about it. It's like an album where they're trying to experiment with things without finding their sound, and it scores really high. This is another one that was
So it should.
top 10 lists that year, and I don't think it's a top 10 album. I would give it a 3 out of 5, whereas every other Opeth album scores higher than it. So there you go. Watershed from this guy in at number 2, which technically was swapped out for The Blackening, which was my number 2. So swapped them round because I wanted some ire up in this chat. So there you go.
He's still ranting about Machine Head. He's just too drunk to realise
That's just... Yeah,
I'm telling you, when was the
Ian's
last time you
wrong.
listened to it? When was the last time you listened to it?
Oh, Opeth, Watershed, fucking all the time.
All the when?
It's a fucking great album.
When?
What, you want an exact date and time? Like,
Give me weeks. Last week, the week before,
oh, a few months ago,
a
probably.
few months ago. See, that's so long ago, Dave.
Fuck you.
You've turned 40 since then, Dave. You've turned 40. You've
That
turned 40
album
since then.
does not deserve to be here. That album deserves to be here as much as fucking R. Kelly deserves to be here. Get the fuck with your
R.
Opeth
Kelly's
and
going to
Watershed.
prison, Dave. That's not something to joke about.
That's right. He's going to prison. He shouldn't be here. Same as that album.
It's not a good album. It's not a good album. There you go. See,
Number-
so I've upset
number-
Dave now. So I've
number
upset
2.
the chat. I've upset Dave. I wonder who I can upset with my number 1.
Motherfuckers.
Kyle, number 1.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You made me follow that. Oh.
What, Opeth?
You
can do this.
All right, I'll give it a shot. I don't remember when this album came out because, frankly, I don't give a shit. This is an album that everybody and their mothers...
Wait a minute. What? True story. Seamus says he spent January 2020 transcribing the R. Kelly lyrics for streaming services for 3 weeks. I almost walked out and never came back.
Whoa. Right, like, yeah, let's link back to that. Seamus, who do you work for that you had to do that?
What?
Yeah.
I had a
Can you
weird
tell us?
I had a weird lockdown, but it sounds like you had the worst lockdown.
Yeah, let us know if you can. Let us know. Let us know who you work for or what cruel bastard you can't say, but it was in your former job, right? Is it a former day job because you had to spend most of January 2020 transcribing R. Kelly lyrics?
Where are you employed by R. Kelly?
Hopefully not. You would hope not. You would hope R. Kelly wouldn't make people transcribe his own lyrics.
Sounds like the kind of shit he might do. Did you hear the kind of shit he does?
Yeah, everything else sound infinitely worse than that, Dave.
I don't know, like...
You know what I mean?
It does sound like a really pissed job, doesn't it?
I find you guilty of all the horrible things that you've done to women and underage boys and all the rest. And also for making Seamus transcribe your lyrics, you bastard.
That's the worst.
There we go. He says he's going to email Dave the story later on, but can't go into
All right.
specifics. We'll look
I
forward to the
that.
email.
Thank you.
With big black censorship bars
Oh
over
my
it,
good
yeah.
God Almighty!
Sorry,
Oh my.
sorry. I interrupted you there.
Me? Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't think I can carry on.
Oh, it's so funny.
Oh, what was I talking
Right.
about? Oh yeah, this fucking album. Jesus.
Paul, don't be giving them shortcuts a year after he did the work. You know what that's like? That's like someone saying, "Oh, you know, I got lost while I was trying to find my way to this particular library, right? And it took me 3 hours to do it." And you're like, "That? Well, you should just take the shortcut that would have got you there." It's absolutely no use to anyone right now. Kyle's number 1.
Thanks. I often hear that. Yeah.
That was me taking the long road to get there. Long road to get there.
When did this album come out? I don't remember. I listened to it again, and I couldn't get through it. I had to stop it. It was just, ugh. They've got this very specific style, right? But all of their songs sound exactly the same. And as soon as you've heard one song, which was their main lead single off the first album, everybody lost their minds. And I was like, that's interesting. And then I listened to the album, and I was like, all your songs are the same. You do the same thing every song. And every album they've released since then has been exactly the fucking same. And It's hard to be a really good band when the most interesting thing about you is your fucking chin piercing.
She want me, no.
Yep. Down with the Sickness by Disturbed is the worst album of the past 20 years, and I fucking cannot stand how amazing everybody thought it was. I was like, are we listening to the same thing? They do the same fucking riff every song.
Yep.
That dude does the every fucking song, and I just hate it.
I told you when I saw them live, it was amazing. He was dressed up like a priest on stage with like cut
Of
off
course he was,
sleeves,
because he's got no fucking imagination.
Yeah, well, the first thing I'll say before I get shot by Kyle, not their worst album, like by a country fucking mile, not their worst album. And also means that I can tick off my list Disturbed and Immortalized, which is their worst album.
I didn't even listen to it, so it probably is worse. Because
oh, dude, you're lucky that Disturbed's never come up for one of these Twitch listening to the discography, because we wouldn't have that show. But anyway, he was out on stage. I'd say Down with the Sickness is an album that I enjoy, right? But I can play it with the joke here. He come out on stage anyway, right, with his sleeves off and his reverent collar, and he's like that. My brothers, my sisters, my blood, with his shiny bald head, and he's like that. Are you ready? And everyone's like, yeah. He's like, are you ready? From the back to the front, from the left to the right, and the underground. Well, and then they went into dun, 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 and I thought it was fucking amazing, Kyle. I thought it was amazing. The bit that I lost them was, I think it's their third album where they did Land of Confusion, which is I love that song, right? Unabashedly love that song, love the original. And I listened to it and I was like, you've disturbified that song.
Yeah.
They've stupefied it. They stupefied it. And that they made it shit.
Yeah.
And then every album since then is just that. You're right. The guitarist has one riff.
Yeah.
Well long. The drummer does a bit along with it. And he comes across and does his all that. And that's about it.
Yeah.
But that first album, Down with the Sickness, I enjoy it, even though we talked about cliches before in Jonathan Davis. The whole thing where he's like, "No, mommy, don't hurt me again."
I know,
Ow!
God, I could
it's just
never
like,
stand that.
Fuck off, dude.
I remember the first time I heard that I was actually in a club, and it was like a metal club thing, and everyone was going nuts, and I just sat there like, what is this? Why are you all drunk? They probably were, but I hate that. I hate that album. I hate it so much. It is really hard to put into words how much I dislike this fuck. And the thing is, you read the reviews and everyone's like, oh, it's so good, it's blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, but how? It's the same thing for 35-something minutes.
Seamus says, Drayman once said he wanted Disturbed to be a metal U2, and they have only one riff, so they got that part done.
Mission fucking successful. Disturbed. Good job, Drayman, you moron.
He's one of those vocalists that is very, very easy to dislike straight away. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
You know, like from the moment you saw him. And I remember hearing, like, in their early live shows, he used to come out in a straitjacket. And I'm like, of course he fucking did.
Oh, right, yeah.
Of course he did. Like, oh, I'm insane. I'm insane. Let me out of this straitjacket so I can sing a song. Oh.
It's like Kurt Cobain didn't do that 20 years before you, or 10 years before you, whatever it was.
Yeah. Alice Cooper? I mean, come on.
Yeah, come on.
Oh.
Like,
check, please.
Yeah, right. Been done, dude. Just get your piercings in, and we'll be interested in that, because that's all you've got going for you. And even they're gone now. I think
he took them out, didn't he?
Yeah.
He took them out.
Yeah. And he did a whole press release about it, and everyone was like, oh, you're taking it? Okay, fine. Next.
It was as big news as that time Metallica cut their hair.
Right.
For Load, and everyone lost their shit, and I'm like, they cut their fucking hair. Like, that's it. Disturbed are they're the sort of band that there's a small group of those bands that are ridiculously popular in America that, you know, have a bit of success over here, but never that level. We mention them all the time. Bands like Godsmack, Five Finger Death Punch, that are like, they never need to tour, they never need to do anything. If they release an album, the American residuals alone will see them through forever. Yeah. But over here, they're kind of like, eh. Like, I think if Disturbed toured the UK next year, for example, I don't know what size of venue they would play. I mean, they're one of those ones that I can't imagine they'd play the biggest ones. But I think they're too big to play the smaller ones as well. So somewhere in the middle, and that middle is a bit that I don't want to see. So.
Yeah, right. I don't want to see them. They can play in my basement, and I'll keep them there forever.
There we go.
To make sure they can't inflict their shit on the rest of the world anymore.
If Disturb go missing tomorrow, we need to delete this video. Right?
Yes, we do.
There you go. Machine Citizen says they're the US dude bro military guys band, and that's true. They do all that. Like they started doing all that for the troops stuff on the stage, and I was like, these guys are doing that. Like these guys are doing that. That's really funny. That none of them served either. Unlike a band like what was it? 12. What was the name of that band that I love? 12 Tribes. Who actually the guitarist of that band had done military service. They get to do that. They get to salute the troops. Fucking dreaming up there with come on, man.
The thing is, though, I first heard that song, and like the first few 30 seconds of that could be interesting, but then it never changed, and I was like, well, it's not anymore.
No.
And then the rest of the album was the same, and I'm just like, go home, you shit.
They love a cover as well. They really they're a band that loves a wee cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
I
like.
remember, see when they did that, the Sound of Silence.
Suck.
Jesus.
They did that Sound of Silence, and everyone literally emptied their nuts over it, and I don't get it.
My nuts were firmly sealed up.
Firmly sealed nuts.
Softly sealed
Kyle
up.
likes it. Softly sealed up. There we are.
Just I couldn't get and I heard the auto tune on it because he did it live, and I heard there was probably the producers made him do it, but I still was like, well, you still triggered it because you sang false, you fuck.
Also, the song is The Sound of Silence. The beauty of that song is how soft it's sung. And then he comes out with his and down upon a hand of You're like, what the fuck?
He sounds like country James
going
Hetfield with a cactus up his ass.
Yes, that's what he sounds like. He's another guy that wants to sound like the worst of James Hetfield. Fuck him. Did anyone see that video of James Hetfield crying because Elton John said that he thought they were amazing songwriters?
Yeah.
And Lars is touching him on the shoulder saying, it's alright, James. It's just like that. And I was like, it's fucking Elton John, man. Jesus Christ.
I mean, if you're going to do a cover song, at least put your own spin on it, but make sure your spin is good. You know?
There's a whole Weezer album that would get my ire about that. That Teal album, which is all just covers, is basically just the same songs, but fucking Rivers Cuomo singing over them. It's literally it. There's like zero work done there to update or anything at all. I was like, I can't wait to hear what they do with Africa, and it's just Africa.
Yeah.
Sounds like Toto's the backing band.
Right.
Couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. Right, Dave, what you got at number one? That you shocked the world with your controversial stance on Asians and baby metal.
Asians?
I need to have a goddamn... I need a nap after that.
Oh, you did get I could see it in your face. It's all fucking wrong. Almost got you drinking there. Almost got you.
Close.
Yeah, Seamus is right. The Teal album is pure cowardice committed to tape. It's an album which, I've said it before. I like covers. I do like. I love a wee cover on an album, but I love a band making a song sound like the band as opposed to just a band playing another band's song.
Yeah, Machine. That's what Elton John was talking about.
Yeah. The cover.
But to be honest, if Elton John came to me and said, this is one of the greatest songs you've ever written, and it was one of mine, I'd be like, yeah, I'd probably cry too. It's Elton fucking John.
I also think that Elton John just does that whenever he's asked to speak about anyone on TV.
It could be that, but it still gets
I genuinely don't think Elton John has listened to the Black Album in its entirety. I'm sorry. I struggle, so when he's talking about how it's the greatest album, I might be wrong. I just don't see it. So when he said, I found what he said very disingenuous, and then I felt that someone should have given James Hetfield a drink, which is a bad thing to say because he's recovering. But I'm not a nice guy. Might as well get these things out before I turn 40.
The actual cover was the bad. Actually, I thought it was
pretty good. The majority of things they've managed to do on that covers release that I've heard thus far has been really, really, really good.
Right.
Like, I've enjoyed
I've only heard that song, but
there's a couple of them that are excellent. There's a Ghost one you'd love, Dave. So why are you even surprised about that? Even the aforementioned Weezer, they're involved as well. So yeah, there's a lot in there. There's a lot in there to check out. Do I think when you read the song listing though? Do I think we need 100 covers of Enter Sandman? No. It's like there's multiple covers of the same song by different bands, which I don't get.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, just get bands to do different songs. I mean, of course, every band is going to want to do Master of Puppets and all that, the good songs, but just pick the ones you like the best and just be like, okay, you can do this song because we like you the most, and you can do this fucking shit song because you're here.
Yeah. It's just sort of like that, where you end up with and it's the popular ones, you know what I mean? So it's like multiple versions of the popular ones that you've already heard a million times because they're Metallica, you know? Like, so I don't get that. But anyway. Dave, you're number one.
Okay, gentlemen. Number one. Oh dear.
You're right there, Kyle.
I am now.
Kyle's 2 seconds away from checking his heart rate.
Yeah. I've got it off my chest. I'm good now.
My number one. This may be the point where I get ejected from this live stream.
He's coming in with something that we like, buddy.
Yeah, I know for a fact Duncan and Kyle both like this band.
9 Inch Nails.
And this album is probably one of their biggest. It was probably one of their biggest selling albums. There's a couple that sold really well, but this is probably one of the biggest ones. It's actually listed in the 500 greatest rock and metal albums of all time.
Who made that list?
There's a book that's released.
All right, cool.
That you can purchase. Whatever. The album was. I don't know why I was trying to sell that there. The album was released.
Is it written by one David Buchanan by any chance?
No, because this album wouldn't be in it. 2001, this album came out, so it just makes the cut.
Oh wow, really?
I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, do you?
It's a 4-letter word. 4-letter.
No.
Band name? No. I don't. Totally don't. No, he's got me going.
And it was the guy that produced it, a guy called Jacob Hellner. He seemed to do a lot of their stuff. I think he was Swedish then, but he went on to do a few big names after this. But the band, it's pretty obvious actually. Once you hear it, you'll be like, oh fuck yeah, of course it is. The band is Rammstein.
Get angry about that.
The album.
You're a racist. We've already worked that out, Dave. It's fine.
Album is Mutter.
I love Mutter.
It's a great album. Get fucking out.
We'll call it Mutter because it rhymes with gutter where it should be.
You know, he's been working on that for a couple of days. This is a real zinger. Like Mutter, gutter.
On the spot. That was on the spot.
On the spot a week ago.
I've never understood this band. Like the kind of adoration this band receives.
You take French in school, aye?
Oui. No, I didn't actually. I took German, but
and you still don't get Rammstein. You're out of the loop, man.
I'll tell you why.
All right, come on, bring it.
There's bits of it.
Tell us how wrong you are.
I'll tell you how right I am just now. There's bits of it I can appreciate. Like I think the production on that album is pretty solid.
Yeah,
guitars and drums sound pretty chunky, and the kind of industrial elements are well balanced.
Yep.
But that's pretty much as far as I go with the positives for that album.
You've got more good things to say about it than I do about fucking Disturbed.
The songs on this are what I would class as grade A garbage. There is
holy fucking shit.
Literally, there is literally
there you go.
That's not an ounce of substance on this album.
It's full of it, but that's...
Every song is based either around one riff, or a really shite lyric.
Yeah,
and the vocals.
This is the guy that loves Nickelback.
The vocals. The vocals are one of the most cringy elements, not only of this band, but that I've ever heard. His tone is god awful. He sounds like a fucking pantomime villain.
I don't
right?
think he likes Sonna, Paul. He's a bit to get to that.
And the fucking opera. I listened to it again this week, and I was just see when he starts all that fucking operatic pish. Like seriously, get to fuck, man. Riffs wise, it's just the same fucking idea they reuse over and over and over again. How many versions can they make of Du Hast? How many? Like, because pretty much every second song sounds like fucking Du Hast. It is such an overrated album.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're really, really good at playing that one riff.
Oh. This album should not be getting 5-star reviews. And I had to listen to it like because I switched off of this band at one point. Like I just got to the point where I was like, fuck this band, I'm never listening to it again. And I did listen to a couple of other albums this week because like I'd been listening to Mutter. And every album is just garbage. Like I just don't get it. You know what I mean? And I wish I hadn't listened to them because I'm never getting that time back. But this album it was an easy number one because it is fucking shite, utter shite.
Oh, you know, I will take that. You know what? I'm going to take that because on your list, Baby Metal scores fucking Rammstein. My work here's done, and like Nine Inch Nails didn't make your list, so I'm fine with that.
Nah.
I'm fine with that.
Oh, if Nine Inch Nails had made his list, I swear to God, I'd have just ended the stream.
I was going to say
and gone
in
home.
defense of Dave, there is no defense of Dave, but Dave has like I will give him this consistently not like Rammstein in the full time I've known him. Like I've known you now many like too many years apparently. Like he's never liked them.
No.
I've never heard you verbalise it that way. It's generally a bit calmer. You know what I mean? It's usually like, it's not my thing, Duncan.
Yeah.
I'm like, go
but
Dave.
I've had to listen to it this week, so like it's just pent up rage from this whole week of listening to Rammstein and just releasing it tonight.
Yeah. So you did, like you've won, by the way. You bet me. Like I thought I got the ire of the entire chat when I said that I didn't like the Blackening. I thought I'd won this. I haven't because you've literally everyone hates you now, which I'm cool with. It's about time everyone saw the real Dave.
Dave binned Rammstein albums for review in the Rock and Real days. I know because I requested it.
Wait a sec. So Dave used to bin albums in the past. That's interesting, Paul. Let me tell you a little story of recently when we found out that Dave had been binning albums, so me and Kel couldn't see them. That had the words "industrial" in the title.
It was one album.
He's been putting things in the bin for ages and we didn't know about it. He's been doing it since the beginning of this shit. He's always been doing it. Cool, there's no way I can top that. Like, zero way topping that. I'm going for an album that will unite us, if you've heard it. I don't think Dave will have heard it. Kyle definitely's heard this. I hope the people in the chat don't go and check it out, because if you do, all that will happen is you will find that you are once again validating my opinion, because it's not a good album. However, this one confusingly scored, it was like a 4 out of 5 in Kerrang and like an 8 out of 10 in Metal Hammer. And this was the return to form. This was putting industrial back on the map, Dave. The most important industrial album in a generation. From a guy who has consistently made industrial unpalatable for over a generation. This is a Ministry.
Oh, I knew it was fucking
album
Ministry.
Is American
Oh.
with 3 Ks in it, because guess what? He's being edgy. Edgy. This is like, I don't care what you like. Rammstein pisses from a great height all over this. This
seriously.
is like just fucking awful.
Yep.
Like awful.
All
the
the way
production terrible. Like the song structure almost non-existent. It's loops for the sake of loops. Weird fucking like gnarly distorted noises for the sake of trying to make it sound heavier than it is. And vocally it's shit. Like just generally fucking...
She's like, actually I won't check it out. Like, don't. It's fucking
don't
awful.
check it. Honestly, don't check it out, please. The thing about Ministry is, right, there's a time period where Ministry is vital to industrial music, right? And that time period is mid to late 80s, where they're like really super important and they are kind of formulating an edgier sound that bands will start to take and incorporate into metal I would argue it without like Sins of Ministry, like even a band like White Zombie might not have sounded like White Zombie did with the loops and all the rest. They were on the cutting fucking edge of that. And obviously bands like Nine Inch Nails, which I have to mention, everyone do a shot because you mentioned it, like pick it off your Duncan bingo, right? Bands like Nine Inch Nails certainly copied a lot of that, but what Trent Reznor had, that our buddy, what's his name again? It's fucking gone my mind. Jorgensen. What he didn't have is the songwriting ability, and that is evident this long into his career. And this album was only a few years ago, and it's still not there. It's still tired. It's tired, like production techniques. It's tired loops. It's Al Jorgensen. Thank you. He's made zero attempt at all in the almost 40 years he's been a musician to actually refine, hone, craft, and become a better musician and songwriter. And it's not there. And that's fine. Going into Americant, I knew I wasn't going to like it because I've not liked Ministry in a long time. What I was baffled by was the reviews for this album, which are across the board almost immaculate. Yeah. I mean, they're not 10 or 5s on those grades, but they're just underneath it. They're like 8s and 4s. Yeah. Across the board, with people literally saying that the Messiah has come back to save industrial music, and I don't fucking get it. It's the same shtick he's been doing for years. It's like, this is his angriest album he's ever done. No, he's just put more distortion on the production. That's literally it. That's all he's done. It's not angry. Oh, he's singing about edgier topics. That's Ministry. He's never sung about kittens and cars. It's always been about the fucking gnarly. That's industrial music. Industrial music is about singing about things that are niche. That's what makes it interesting. But American, across the board, front to back, is one of the worst. In fact, if it's not, I obviously haven't listened to every album of the last 20 years, but to me, it is one of the worst albums released that was reviewed incredibly highly by everyone, and I don't get it. Once again, if you're a Ministry fan, it's an okay Ministry album, but for anyone trying to get into industrial music, Americant would be the last album that I'd give anyone who wants to.
I wouldn't even give it to anyone. I'd be like, no, just ignore that. That's, listen to something better because everything is better. I couldn't believe it either. I was like, are we listening to the same album? Did I get a bad copy of it or something?
Unbelievable.
Fucking it was just
unbelievably
bad. The riffs were so generic. It was just
awful.
You just sat there with a guitar for 20 minutes and just recorded it all and chopped it all into songs, and it's just like you just fucked. You fucked it.
It's the thing that I hate. We mention it all the time without necessarily mentioning it on Twitch streams. When you listen to albums, there are certain genres of music that people that are not fans of the music will say, well, it's just all noise, isn't it? Yeah. It's just all vocals and all. There's all those things that you can throw in, and you have a laundry list of bands that you can go back to and say, well, no, Mastodon isn't like that. Go and listen to Mastodon. It's it's really intricate playing. It's it's dynamics. It takes you through themes when you're listening to music. You have those things in your arsenal. And then there's bands that those people could throw back at you, and there's no defense. And Ministry is one of those bands. Like someone says, well, explain Ministry. I'm like, you got me. You sunk my battleship. You're fucked. There's nothing you can do to get around it.
There's no defense of that album. It's just
there really isn't.
There's none.
I have a couple that didn't quite make the list that I feel that might be fun just to get out of the way because
let's do honourable mentions.
Yeah. A low-hanging fruit here. Guns N' Roses, Chinese Democracy.
Oh yeah, easy.
Shite. So bad, so bad. This might be a little bit controversial because some of us do like the band, but like their other stuff. Strapping Young Lad, The New Black, the last album that they did, which is all super nicely polished and it sounds really, really pristine, and it doesn't have all the stuff that makes Strapping Young Lad. Actually, it sounds very much like a Devin Townsend album, which is interesting because he put the band to bed after that. There's a song on it called Fucker. And the chorus is, fucker, you fucker, fucker, Get out of my way.
Genius.
I mean, so I would like to get rid of that one. Anyone else got honorable? I've got loads of honorable mentions. Singing.
That In Flames one that came out with the Raven on the cover. I can't remember what it's called, but the drummer of the band was loving it, and I read loads of reviews, and they were just like, well, not loads, but a few, and they were like, "This is In Flames back to form," and all this stuff, and I was like, "Is it though? It's fucking awful." I can't remember the name of the album. Got a big old bird on the cover. Came out 5-6 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago. I have fucking no idea. Yeah. It's crap.
That one.
Yeah, that crap.
That one there. Go and search it. It's shite.
Yeah.
Dave, you got a?
I mean, there was a few kind of Devin Townsend related albums that I could have picked here. That
any Ginger Ale Tart ones on there, Dave?
No, there wasn't. No,
because we don't listen to shit here.
Is that Ziltoid album?
Ziltoid is fucking nigh on unlistenable.
But people loved it. Like,
what?
Did they love the music on it though, or did they love the quirkiness?
They just seem to love everything he does, to be honest.
Yeah. It's a true story.
There was a couple of Maiden albums, obviously, that I mentioned earlier.
Interesting enough, Paul disagrees. Ziltoid is great.
See?
Both of them. Is there two? Is there
I'm going to start a
album?
quotes book. It's just going to be called Ziltoid is great and other stupid shit he said.
Paul is making it really difficult to come on this podcast. He's putting up so many barriers. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, there was a couple of the Maiden ones, Dance of Death, and what was the other one? The Final Frontier. Just fucking.
All of the previous Iron Maiden albums. Yeah. After Brave New World, it was just like.
Yeah.
I mean, this one's kind of. What about Mudvayne, the new game, which sounds like Mudvayne, the old game. It's like so. That was the last album they did as Mudvayne, and it is just. It's like
yeah, that was
it's
almost
like
on my
ballads.
list. Yeah,
it's like rock ballads. I don't get it. It's pish.
Yeah.
What about Limp Bizkit? Results may vary.
I forgot that existed. I didn't even think.
Did that get decent reviews?
Yep.
Yeah, it did.
Awful.
Yeah.
Everyone loved that one. I mean, we're not talking about 5-star reviews, but we're talking about like in the 75% and up of reviews. People dig that. Like Fred Durst is doing different things. They've got a different guitarist, which was the big issue. And not very good. Here's one here. Here's one here. Like all the components back in the band. This album, like over a decade in the waiting. This should be absolutely amazing because all the component parts Duncan loves. A Perfect Circle, Eat the Elephant, boring as fuck. Not a good album.
No, never liked it. Well, like
did that in between Tool. Yeah. Like we were waiting for a Tool album and he's releasing this shit.
Yeah, Pucifer was much better.
Yeah, Pucifer much more interesting.
Yeah, like the world didn't need that album. It just didn't. It was alright, but it wasn't anything to write home about.
Seamus says Results May Vary did not get good reviews. Everyone I knew rejected that album like a stolen credit card. Insult to Injury, Limp Bizkit did that shite cover on Behind Blue Eyes. Remember that? No one knows what it's like. And they spelt Pete Townsend's name wrong in the liner notes. In fairness, isn't Pete Townsend the one that got done for
being a Baby Metal fan?
He probably is, by the way.
Yes,
probably is. Him and Gary Glitter. So come on, right? Let's. So yeah, Eat the Elephant. Not a good. Well, once again, like Maynard James Keenan in there, that should be huge. And his vocals just don't sound interesting at all. And then he came back with the last Tool album there, and I was like, that's the Maynard I know. Give me that.
Yeah, there was one that did pretty well on its initial release, but I went back and I listened to it, and it hasn't aged well at all. But it's Steel Panther and Balls Out.
Was that the second one or the first one?
The third
second one.
Is that? I don't know. Any idea?
Yeah. Can't remember what the first one was. The first one was Feel the Steel, wasn't it?
Oh,
so it
yeah,
must be the
second
second one.
one. Yeah.
Second one is boring.
Yeah.
They're the tragic story of a band that has that one. They're the Darkness, they're that band that has that one album where everything fits perfectly, and then every album after that is like,
Ed, thanks for the sub, dude. What's going on?
Hello.
Wasn't ready for that. Like, neither one of you guys like this band, but this was their last album, which scored relatively high, and it is really long, bloated, and boring. You know, kind of like the Blackening by Machine Head. Don't know if I'm getting any bites for that. Avenged Sevenfold's last album, The Stage.
All of Avenged Sevenfold's albums are fucking awful. So I mean,
I had one of them as well on my list. Walking the Fallen was the other one that I thought was highly overrated.
Is that
they didn't even make my list. Are that bad?
Yeah, the worst.
So I'm trying to remember. That's one of the really early ones before they started becoming a bit more Guns N' Roses. Right, can I tell you what the worst album that I listened to? We joked about this off here. And it's like, this is not one that generally got great reviews, although a couple of publications actually did review it relatively well. And this is 100% the lowest. This fruit is hanging so low, it's on the fucking floor, right? Like, totally there. This is the worst thing this band's ever done, and this band has done a lot of fucking stuff that we don't like. It's a covers album of Iron Maiden and Judas Priest covers by the band 6 Feet Under. This is Graveyard Classics 4, The Number of the Priest.
Oh my fucking god! Jesus.
And like, the thing is, I was going to put the last album in, right? Because I thought I could shove the last album, or the album before that, or the album before that.
Anything they've ever done, yeah.
Like, because like, they're not good. They're not good. We all know that. Everyone knows that. Their death metal's like joke at the moment. We all get like hee hee. So like it's like a little hee like that. But I was trying to find something that, in general, was one of these things that seemed to get a bit of interest, because I know they do have fans. Otherwise, they wouldn't be releasing music on a label. And I went through, and then I found this thing, the Graveyard Classics, and there's just like a series of, they've done 4 volumes, covers. And I checked out some of them. Once again, once you get past his not very good vocals, the music on it was pretty cool, because they were doing stuff that was out with, not necessarily transferable to the death metal genre, if you know what I mean. So like the first one had a couple of interesting tracks. The second one, so I've done a lot of listening because I've had a lot of time on my hands. So I come to this one, I was like, all right, so they're doing Maiden and Priest. This could be interesting. I'm not a big fan of Judas Priest. I'm not a big fan of Iron Maiden, but I'd be interested to see what they do with them. It is honestly not listenable. It's the worst thing I've ever heard.
And
Dave,
really
I'm
bad.
gonna put right. I'm gonna put Laster in beside that. It's the worst thing I've ever heard on a label in my entire life. It is fucking awful. How they have albums after this is beyond me. Like, it's almost criminal. Like, they should have been locked up after that.
Yeah.
Like, there should be a restraining order between them and their musical instruments. Like, you're not allowed within 500 meters of a guitar. It is honestly, like, genuinely is the worst album I've ever heard. It's 6 Feet Under, Graveyard Classics, Volume 4, The Number of the Priest.
Thanks for the subscription at Tier 2, Jeff. That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Don't listen to it. But if you've got that little itch where you're like, can't be that bad. You really can't be that bad. Go for it, and I will accept your apology for doubting me.
That is just nuts. Yeah, I mean, there's space for them in my basement next to Disturbed. But to bring it full circle, and Judas Priest and all the covers, like Machine Head did one of Sentinel. That's a great cover.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. It's so good. And didn't Dimmu Borgir do one? Can't remember.
Probably.
I think they did. Yeah, it was a Judas Priest song. Can't remember which song it's called now. But it was amazing.
The Bunny the Bear is not the worst thing I've ever listened to, Paul. It's up there. It's not the worst thing I've ever listened to. The worst thing I've ever listened to is 6 Feet Under.
I mean, even their name sounds like a tongue-in-cheek Saturday morning cartoon for children, doesn't it? It's like, oh, it's a cartoon about skeletons, 6 feet under. Yeah. It's like there's just nothing, no substance to that band at all.
That last album is fucking awful. And then, but this came before it. So the last album is better than that. So you listen to them fucking murder songs by bands who are much bigger than them.
Yeah.
And actually cut their chops. And I'm not, like I say, I'm not even a fan of Judas Priest or Iron Maiden, but had they known the band was going to fucking do that to them, I don't think they would have signed off on it. At this point now, there is some sort of weird, like they have like pictures of the A&R guy for that record label fucking a sheep or something that they're holding over to release those albums. Honestly, it's yeah. Mike says Graveyard Classics 5 will feature 6 Feet Under covering their own songs. Honestly, the worst thing I've ever heard on a label. The worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life. So yeah. Yeah, that's my list. I had other things, I cut them off. I had so much new metal, by the way, but I think someone mentioned earlier on that that's easy, and it really is easy.
A little bit easy, yeah. There's a million new metal bands you can just pick. It's a fucking awful, but yeah.
A lot of them were rated really highly. I don't like there was.
It was a whole thing. I mean, I like new metal, but a lot of that was
I was
very...
in it as well, but I could tell the difference between a good new metal band and a bad new metal band. Apparently. Was Kerrang ever a good magazine? There's the question we need to ask, because most of the inflation of the reviews all were on the Kerrang side. Metal Hammer's a close second, but Kerrang seems to always overinflate like big bands. It's weird. I'm not saying there is money involved.
There was a point where it was just like Kerrang and Metal Hammer were the two big names that were reviewing albums, so they tended to overinflate everything. Now that there's more websites and more magazines and stuff, they don't get away with it as much, but they probably still do it though.
Oh, definitely.
It's nuts. Like I say, some of the grades for some of the albums we've talked about tonight beggar belief.
Yeah,
it's almost as if they do a poll and they say, right, who's going to give this that? Who's the biggest fan in here of Ministry? Right, you're getting the Ministry album. Only give it glowing review. It feels that way cynically, but I've had a ton of fun doing this. I know we joked that maybe what we would do is somewhere in a future Twitch do the 90s. That could be fun, by the way. You imagine how much grunge we're going to have to listen to in the 90s. Holy fucking shit.
I will listen to Diabolus and Musica over and over again. I love that album.
It was one of those. I found a list online, which was a list of the top 20 albums by bands you love that released a bad album, and Diabolus and Musica was in that list, and I was like, whoever wrote this is a fucking buffoon.
Right, that album's amazing.
Like that is not even the worst Slayer album by a country fucking mile.
No.
Right, and yes, it doesn't sound like conventional Slayer, but there are conventional Slayer albums that sound worse than this. So, you know what I mean? Staying in Mind live, one of my favourite things I've ever seen live. Yeah. Fucking amazing. And it's just Loco by Cold Chamber, played by Kerry King. I love it. I'm like, yes! Yeah. Just that's it. Open string 1, open string. Just keep doing it.
That's all you need. That's all you ever need. Maybe I'll just write a song that's just all open and 1. That's it. Just all the way through. On different strings.
All you need.
Yep.
So, I suppose that brings us to what we're doing next month.
What are we doing next month? Yeah. Well, I like this idea of 90s. We've done a lot of... We always do stuff that's, brand new. We're always listening to new stuff, so why not go back a bit further? Because we've done 2002, and now we've done all of the 2000s. Well, the worst of the 2000s. We could flip this topic on its head and be like albums that were badly rated that we really liked.
I like that.
I feel like 90s is going to be pretty much... Oh yeah, it's going to be a lot of grunge. I'm not in the mood to listen to grunge.
A lot of grunge, a lot of Pantera,
Metallica and Pantera.
And then new metal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm up for the new metal.
Mike says 1990 to 1994 best metal albums.
Totally in for that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Strong.
Totally in for that.
5 best ones?
5 each.
Yeah.
We pick our 5 favourite albums covering those years. And it doesn't have to be one from each year. It can be
whichever. It could be 5 from 91.
It's a very good chance we'll have crossover. So you just pick our 5 favourite albums from those Oh, that'd be good.
Yep. Or Kearney says underrated 90s albums.
Good thing about that 1990 and 1994 is there's a whole lot of Nine Inch Nails. 94, Downward Spiral did.
92 is what's it called? Broken EP.
Broken EP, yeah. Can I have 2 Nine Inch Nails? Oh yes, I can.
You take one.
Check,
I'll take
please. Get the fixed EP in there as well, which came in
Yeah.
between. Check, please.
Oh, and the Coil EP, which came out before.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Well, let's just do like top five.
That's it.
Nine
We've
Inch
done
Nails
it.
albums
All right,
from
next topic.
1990 to 1994.
That was it. Butchered at Birth. Yeah, that's on there. Fuck, there's so much good stuff that came out then.
Let's do that first suggestion. Top 5 albums. Well, top 5 metal albums from 1990 to 1994 each.
Okay.
We'll see how it lands. Downward Spiral. I'm not gonna lie, that's my number 1. So you may as well lock it in. Lock it in right now. Lock it in. Boom. My number 1. And see when we do the next half from 95 to 99, the Fragile will be in there. Lock that one in. Lock it in.
That album is so good. It's been 20 fucking something years, and I'm still picking out new stuff I've never heard in that album. Every time I listen to it, it's just another little thing I've never heard before.
And then I'm obsessed with that. We'll keep talking about that chick online who does all the deconstructions and
oh
stuff.
yeah, Illy.
Fucking mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought he was an amazing songwriter. Yeah. Dave's so bored right now, but fuck him. It's my birthday, so Dave is so bored right now. But I legitimately thought he was a clever musician, and then she breaks down what he's doing, and I'm like, this is fucking mind blowing.
It is. It's just.
But then there's part of me's like that. Does he know he's doing that way where you sit English in school, and the teacher's like, right, read this paragraph here. Oh yes, we can see the author's using ambiantic pentameter or whatever, all this stuff, and he's using all the symbolism and all the rest. And I think to myself, maybe he just wrote the paragraph.
Right. Didn't know he was doing it.
Yeah, I think that's the same with music. I think musicians write things, and then people that can deconstruct music go, oh, he's very consciously moving to the.
It's like what happened with that Radiohead song. I forget the name, but they did some really weird transfer between 2 different chords, and every musician was like, "Oh my god, that's insane!" And Tom York was just like, "If you say so."
Yeah, I just thought it sounded nice. So
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Is that thing of between it's how much you bring to it and how much you want to deconstruct, how much you put into it.
Yeah.
But without Dave falling asleep, let's keep him awake. That's what we're doing next time.
Cool. Got to do that.
Yeah, I can't wait to do a Deconstruct Nine Inch Nails episode. It's gonna be great.
I won't be there for that, but
I'll just be Dave's chair.
Yeah.
I'll leave the lights on and all that.
He'll introduce the show and then fuck off. These 2 cunts are going to talk about Nine Inch Nails. I'm out.
Dude, honestly, one day.
Oh god.
One day I would. It might be what I'm not saying we're doing
No.
but one day it'd be interesting to find out exactly what. Sit down,
No.
pick a release, go through it, and find out what it is that you actually don't like about it. That's the bit that confuses me. I can't find anything on some of those albums that are even a point where I'm like, that's a bad choice. So to hear your view of it may bring wisdom to my eyes.
Nope.
Or ignorance to yours. One of the two.
That would involve me having to listen to it again, so.
I've listened to Rammstein for the last week.
That's another quote from my book.
Yeah, I just there was one album they released, and there was a couple of tracks that I thought weren't bad.
Was that Year Zero?
Yeah, is that the one was it with Teeth?
Oh no, that's With Teeth.
Was it? Oh, I don't know.
They did With Teeth, which had
Every Day is Exactly the Same.
Every Day Exactly the Same. What was the big single from that? Only.
There's another one as well. Hand That Feeds.
But then they did the one which was all the electronic stuff, which was Year Zero. Is it Year Zero?
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, Year Zero was the one they did after that, which was all made of loops that he'd done on the road.
With Teeth. That was one that had the Hand That Feeds and stuff on it.
Yes. That's
Yeah,
the one Dave Grohl drums on.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Right, okay.
Yeah.
That's a great
yeah.
album. Fuck.
Couple
I
of
couldn't
tracks on that
believe
didn't
that
I?
thing came out. It was 5 years after The Fragile, which I was still boning over, by the way. And it came out, and I was like, this is so different, but still so good. They pared down every sound they had and just went for it rock band style, and it worked so well.
It stripped out a lot of this stuff. And then that's what I'm saying, like when he came back and did Year Zero, he brought back all, he just went, he overcompensated. He did like so much electronic shit. I was like, what are you doing? I love it.
Still love it. Yep.
Have you listened to that? Like, at the risk of turning us into a non-metal podcast right now, have you listened to that Halsey album yet?
Oh, no, not yet. I haven't had a chance, but I want to get round to it. I've heard the single, I think, and it's very Trent Reznor.
It's very Trent. Yeah. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross produced the album.
Yeah, and I think
she sought them out, and it's like Nine Inch Nails light with like she's a really good singer, by the way.
Yeah, she is
really fucking good. Yeah. I didn't realise that. That's the first time listening to her, but yeah, it's an interesting choice. She selected multiple Oscar-winning composer Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross to work on her album.
Interesting.
Oh man, never change, Dave. Never change. Love it.
Yes, has been a pleasure, gentlemen.
It's been a pleasure and an ordeal having to listen to these fucking albums.
Listen. None of us. There was a couple of options here for us to mention Stained, and no one took that. Right, so like, right, no one mentioned Stained. We could have. It could have worked.
I think we're all out on mentioning Stained with stuff we hate because I mean, we did that for 4 hours 3-4 months ago, and I think 6 months ago, and I'm never coming back to it because I swear, if I have to listen to that fucking shit band ever again in my life, I would probably kill myself. There is a perfectly good bridge just down the road, and it's very good.
The Metal Raven says Stained equals band.
Yeah.
That's fair. I feel that's fair.
Duncan says yes. So there we go.
Yes. Thanks once again for attending our Twitch stream. Much appreciated, guys. Thanks for all the chat. It's been awesome.
Back next month. We missed an option here. We should have picked instead of doing 90s albums, what we should have done is taken something on a horror theme. For obvious reasons, it's October. Should have done that.
It's not too late to change.
Then I'm thinking about what that would actually sound like.
I mean, you got stuff like obvious ones is Wednesday 13 and all that.
Yeah.
Murder Dolls, stuff like that. Misfits to a point.
best Roadrunner Records collection against that early 2000s horror movie. Resident Evil. Mine's is Mummy, the Scorpion King. So I think Creed is on all of them, by the way.
Jesus.
Yeah. I think Creed is everywhere.
Rob Flynn is streaming. Let's raid him.
Yeah. Rob Flynn is streaming.
Yeah, he's live right now. We're going to go raid him.
Right, can I tell him that I think the blackening is overrated, bloated, and...
Absolutely, you can. We're going to go see Rob Flynn. He is screaming into a microphone. It looks fun.
He's like, I am your nightmare, worst scare. I hated that song. Notice how they didn't play any of that live, by the way. Says a lot.
Yep. We'll be back at the end of October for our next stream. Be good to see you again. Thank you once again for attending this one. Much appreciated. And we're about to raid Rob Flynn.
A sentence that I didn't think I would ever say.
Yeah. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
That'll be actually made in Rob Flynn.
Yeah. And we're off.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there we are.